participating locations, it is the taco spot all day long. All right, so the D-backs get an incredible win last night on the road against the Giants. The NBA playoffs were like nuts, and we have an NBA draft lottery, the number one pick going to the Dallas Mavericks.
It's rigged.
Welcome in, everybody.
The NBA is rigged.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jax is here. Connor is here. We have it all covered for you today. This is going to be a lot of fun. We will go to Dallas in roughly about 10 minutes from right now. Mike Ducey is a 25-year-plus sports veteran in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He's going to join us. We have a great lineup. Nick Picorro is going to be on the show. We will talk Diamondbacks baseball as well. That is coming up in our first hour. All right, so let's begin then with the D-backs from last night. When we came in, the conversation was not about Corbin Carroll and his two dingers, which proved to be the margin of victory. It was about the catch that was made by Loris Gurriel. I thought he's going to miss it. I really did. I thought that ball was like zooming, and he had misplayed it, and he wasn't going to be able to make the play.
Yeah, and I believe someone was on second base, and it was one out, too.
Yeah.
So it was one of those where he drops that ball. The runner probably had a triple, let alone double, and the guy on second gets in, too. But here's the call from Lourdes Gurriel, and a hell of a catch he had last night against the San Francisco Giants.
Is this 3-2? Swung on that. It's in on a line to deep left. Gurriel leaps and makes the catch. A reverse somersault as now he's back to his feet and throws back into second. What a sensational catch by Lourdes. Oh, man.
So that was nuts. It really was. Saved the game. Look, I thought Justin Verlander, aside from the two dingers by Corbin Carroll, he pitched a great game.
Mm-hmm.
He really did for the Giants. And then, guess who did not cramp up? Merrill Kelly.
Yeah.
He did not cramp up. Maybe he drank a bottle of pickle juice.
It worked. The fans sending pickle juice his way. But, Jimmy, we always talk baseball, and I'm excited to, get into the Diamondbacks later with Nick Picorro. But I'm not much of a baseball guy. But when you did look, if you're just a fan of pitching, you see the names Merrill Kelly and Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
You had to anticipate this was going to be a low-run game, and that's what it was last night. And you got to give – me and Rock talked about this on Friday, about who could be the face of Arizona sports right now. I mean, Corbin Carroll made a hell of a showcase last night, bringing in 2 home runs in that win last night. I mean, that's a game, Jimmy B. They come from the Dodgers series. We wanted it to be 2-2. And you wonder, well, an NOS next game on the road against a really good opponent, how are they going to respond? And them winning the first one again in the series. It's a good sign for the D-backs.
Look, you hope that they catch fire here and they string a few wins together. We ran some clips yesterday a little bit with some of the players and the manager talking about, hey, we've got to get better and we have to win more games in a row. Look, it's always nice when you're on the road if you get a split, but when you're on your home field, you want to win those series. That's what elevates you into that upper echelon. And right now, it's a case where the Diamondbacks are indeed staying in contact with the top teams, with the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants and the D-backs. Everybody is bunched together. And we talked a little bit about this last week, where you cannot go into a skid and fall 9 to 10 games behind by the end of May. So last night's win did a lot to impress a lot of people.
Did it impress you a little bit, Jimmy?
It did, finally. Yeah, I was seriously impressed.
Sorry to interrupt. You've been harder on this team than I think a lot of people in the
I have been. Yes, because I anticipated more. I anticipated a solid pitching staff, which we haven't gotten yet, but maybe it's coming around after what Corbin Burns did and now what we saw from Kelly last night. But I just expected them not to be just hovering around 500. Now they're 2 games over 500. All right, can you make a run here against a good Giants team on the road and get 2, 3, or 4 games above 500? Can you start to make your mark and show that you are truly a competitive team in the West? And I think that's the most important thing. The players have to prove it to the fans. Also, the players, along with management and coaches, have to prove it to themselves. I really believe if they go on a little bit of a run here, we are going to see that catapult them into being in contention the rest of the year. Look, I know they play 328 games. I get all of that. I do. But you got to have confidence builders. And Jax, being a former college football player, the higher your confidence in yourself, the better you're going to play.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on there. It's interesting, too. Baseball perspective, I'll ask you this question. What's been the history since you've covered baseball of the NL West? My first question. And second one, it seems like in baseball, in football, in the NFL, division games really matter. NBA, I don't even know if they have divisions because I couldn't even tell you the names of the divisions or who's in what division. But is baseball, has it always been where division games just mean a little more, especially in the NL West since it's loaded?
Yes, because of the rivalries. Look, Giants against the Dodgers, all hell is broken loose in those series. And you have terrible things that have happened. Fans have been beat up in the stands. They've been beat up outside of the stadiums. I think, if memory serves me correctly, I think one man died after being in an encounter with other fans. Look, there are some serious rivalries, but you have to make those rivalries. And so right now, the Diamondbacks, are they in a rivalry with the Dodgers? Not really. Are they in a rivalry with the Giants? No. Are they in a rivalry with San Diego? No, because they haven't been consistently really good in order for those heated type games to take place, where fans really get, oh, man, I got to go to this Padres D-backs game tonight. This is a big-time rivalry. It's just not there.
Got some breaking news here, fellas. While we're on the topic of baseball here, some big news coming right now from Rob Manfred. On Tuesday morning, he decides to make the decision to remove the names Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and among some other deceased players as well from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list. So you now have Pete Rose, Joe Jackson, among others, eligible to make it to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Man, I wish Pete was still alive now. I really do. Doesn't mean he'll get voted in, but I wish he was still alive just so he could hear that.
Well, what's your reaction to that? Because that obviously hits you more than what I would know. I mean, Connor, you could comment on this too, because you told me that, and I was like, okay, I know Pete Rose's name. I know that's a big deal in baseball.
Shoeless Joe Jackson was involved in the Black Sox scandal. Look, it was even before I was born. Just shocking. So the thing that I'll say about Pete, knowing him and working with him as I did on network radio, is that he was really a good guy if he knew you or you were even just a somewhat of an acquaintance, but he could really be surly and bad just for autograph seekers who would throw 20 things at him. He would always sign for kids, but not so much for the adults. And I saw him get into verbal confrontations with lots of people. The thing that I would love to see Pete Rose get in, and I have said this many times on this show, is that you put him in as a player, but next to his plaque, you would have another plaque saying he was suspended from Major League Baseball for betting on games as a manager. I always felt that at least would have fulfilled the obligation of players never betting on baseball. Now, look, I don't know if he bet on the Reds while he was a player. I'm guessing that he probably did. I know they had the goods on him when he was betting as a manager. I know that. But this is a big story. I tip my cap to Rob Manfred for doing this, and it'll be up to the Major League Baseball writers as they make their decision on if those guys will indeed get in. That's just the way that I see it right there.
Interesting perspective.
The NBA playoffs last night, we saw what happened with the Knicks as they were victorious, and the loss of Jason Tatum out with the injury. Also, Look what the Minnesota T-Wolves did as well, taking care of the Golden State Warriors. And the NBA Draft Lottery was held last night as well. So that brings us then to our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. And State 48 Roofing, #1 referred roofer in Arizona, proudly serving Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade. And for a free quote, repair, or installation, just head to state48roofing.com. You can follow them on social media by searching #sexy roof status. Here's the question. Do you believe that the NBA Draft Lottery was rigged?
Yes.
For the Dallas Mavericks?
Where do I vote, Jimmy? Where do I vote? Where can I get my vote in?
Just go to Roc and Manuch on X and cast your vote.
Continue.
You have two options. One, yes, just like LeBron to Cleveland and Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. Two, no. How could you believe in such a thing? Once again, just go to Roc and Manuch on Twitter, X, and cast your vote. All right, everybody, when we come back, we are going to head to Dallas. The Mavericks had a 1.8% chance of landing the #1 pick. Conspiracy theories abound. We're going to talk to Mike Ducey, longtime television, Fox TV sports reporter and anchor in Dallas, and he is next. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 620.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5, active hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
All right, folks, here we go. 3rd and long, and your old underwear just got blitzed again. Sweaty, bunched up, riding high. That's a wardrobe malfunction, and you cannot coach through that. But hold everything. Chill Boys enters the game. Cool, breathable bamboo boxers. Smooth as a perfectly executed 2-minute drill. I slipped on a pair and bam, total comfort in the pocket, even in the Arizona heat. I've called a lot of clutch performances in my day, and I'm calling it right now. Chill Boys is the MVP of underwear. We've all made the switch here at ESPN 620, and trust me, you should too. Head to chillboys.com. Use code ESPN and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com. Folks, this is a game changer. You cannot afford to fumble.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At White Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WhiteToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WhiteToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WhiteToyota.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
The 4th pick in the NBA draft goes to
the Charlotte Hornets. Picking third will be the Philadelphia 76ers. The second pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and that means that the number one pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
And with that, we say welcome back in, everybody. What is your thought on this? Is it rigged?
I think if those out there are conspiracy theorists and think it is rigged, I think they have a good argument here. But hey, Dallas, congratulations. 18 ping balls out of 1,000, you've won.
There you go. And that leads us to our next guest. Look, I know it was short notice last night, but Mike Ducey, longtime television broadcaster for Fox 4 in Dallas on television. He has covered just about everything you possibly can through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Mike, welcome, pal. I guess we really don't have too much to talk about today, do we?
Hey, guys, no, I've been around here long enough. I actually covered a Cowboys Super Bowl. That's how long I've been doing this.
Attaboy.
But yeah, it was a stunner. And there, in terms of conspiracies, Dallas, we know a little bit about conspiracies or supposed conspiracies in Dallas, don't we? But nothing to see here. It's all on the up and up. Nothing to worry about.
My question to you is when it was announced that the Mavericks got the number one pick, did Nico Harrison, the general manager, text you and say something like, "See, I told you so"?
Yeah, right. Like he would ever text me back after some of the things I've said in the air about him. But anyway, I don't know if you guys saw the video of the war room, so to speak,
yeah,
with Nico and the other Mavericks folks were. I did exchange texts with Rolando Blackman, the Mavericks legend, who was actually their representative at the lottery. And he was on cloud nine, as you might expect. And right after I get off the phone with you guys, I'm going to do an interview with Rick Welts, who is their new chief executive officer. Nico's not exactly accessible to the media on a regular basis right now, but you talk about getting a reprieve, at least for a little while. I mean, Nico Harrison, for as much as he has taken, justifiably so, from the media and the fan base here, the heat will be off for a little while now, assuming he does the right thing with this pick. I jokingly tweeted, as many did, right after the Mavs got the won the lottery. Hey, does this mean Nico now trades the pick to the Lakers? I don't know. That seems to be his MO. But assuming he goes through and takes the Duke phenom, maybe people will be off his back for a while now.
Yeah, Jay Williams this morning talked on Get Up and said that the trade for Giannis is possible now because the Mavs have the number one overall pick. I think most people think they'll go Cooper Flag. But my question to you, Mike, is how will the fan base receive Cooper Flag like they did Luka Doncic at the comparison between the two? And because of this move with Cooper Flag, is Nico Harrison slowly going to be forgiven by the fan base?
That's a good question. And I think it's like any other fan base in any other town, in that if they figure out a way to win big in the next couple of years with Cooper Flag on the team, then I think most people will forgive them. I mean, there are still people here who have never forgiven Jerry Jones for firing Tom Landry, and he won those 3 Super Bowls in fairly short order in the 90s. So there are some who will always be holdouts. And I do think time does heal in many ways, but man, they're just so fortunate to have the opportunity to get another generational player. That's an overused phrase, but it seems to apply. It certainly did with Luka, and I think it does with Flag as well.
I'm going to say this. Luka, when he would play against the Suns, especially in the playoffs, he killed them. And fans were happy that he was gone from Dallas. But then when he ended up on the Lakers, they got surly again about it. Now, as I take a look at the possibility of what Dallas is going to have on the court with Flag, with Gafford, with Likely, with AD, Kyrie Irving when he gets back, with Klay Thompson. This is a team right now, at least on paper, Mike, that could really challenge to get to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, really formidable, and I think really deep. And assuming guys got healthy next year, even if this hadn't happened with the ability to bring Flag in, I still think they had the chance to have a really good bounce back year next year. Now, assuming Flag can come in and be pretty good right away, and all indications are that he can at least be a really, really solid contributor right away as an 18, 19-year-old in his rookie season. You're right. The Mavs have a chance to get back into contention, I think, in short order. But I don't think we should assume anything about, the health of Anthony Davis, for example. I think that's one of the keys. And we all now know how injury prone he is. That's why that trade continues to baffle me so much. But back to the Flag Luka comparisons, and this might be sacrilege, heresy around here. I think, all things considered, I think Flag has a chance to be a better player than Luka Doncic. I think he's a better defensive player right now, and I think he's improved his outside shooting. I think he has a chance, and again, in a fairly short period of time, to be one of the very best players in the NBA.
All right, we know you got things to do with an interview coming up, but I would be remiss if I did not let our producer, Connor, ask you a couple of Cowboy questions. He is a diehard Boys fan.
Yeah, unfortunately,
hey, Connor.
You know how it goes, Mike. Like you said, you've got to cover at least the last time the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl. I haven't even been alive since the last time has happened.
Yeah, and you're not alone there. I have my kids are in the same boat there, but I think they did okay in the draft, don't you? I think it was kind of a big boy, kind of a grown up, mature draft for the Cowboys.
I would agree. I would think it's a step towards the physicality aspect that I think something Mike McCarthy was preaching, but we never quite got to. So that kind of leads me to my question to you. Now that we're going into 2025 under the new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, do you feel like the win and loss total can go up for Dallas, or do you feel like this is another season that might be doom and gloom?
I think the ceiling for this team next year is, let's say, 9 or 10 wins. Let's say 10 wins is the ceiling. I think they could be a playoff team. I really do. And I think Dak now has some weapons with the acquisition of Pickens, the receiver from Pittsburgh. I didn't mind that move in spite of his baggage, just because of some of the other character guys who I do think they have on that roster, starting with the quarterback. It'll all come down to Dak Prescott's health. And he was second team All-Pro the year before last, and then was injured again last year. He for whatever reason, he dominates the NFC East when he's healthy enough to play. If he could just continue doing that, and they put some other things together, I think they could have a decent, slightly above 500 season, maybe sneak into the playoffs. I think they do need to find a running game again, and just fortifying the offensive line isn't enough. Oh, by the way, somebody actually has to run the football, and they got the kid from Texas in the 5th round, and I don't think he's an every down type really versatile back. So we'll see if they can do a running back by committee thing and make the running game work. If the second round pass rusher that they got in the draft could be an immediate contributor getting after the quarterback, that'll help that defense a lot. I like Matt Eberflus coming back as the defensive coordinator. I think that's a guy who can really help them from a coaching staff standpoint. But something weird will happen in the next couple of months, and we'll be covering that, and then I might change my mind entirely. It always does with this team.
You're right, Mike. That's more than fair. Hey, pal, look, I know it was short notice last night. Appreciate your time. We know you got some interviews to go get. Thank you, and have a great day.
All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Great talking to you. Thanks.
There you go. That's Mike Ducey, everybody. Longtime TV broadcaster. He's at Fox 4 TV in Dallas. The latest on the Mavericks getting the number 1 pick. And, of course, our very own Connor Collins with a Cowboys question. We just had to let him ask that.
I think you made a great point about Cooper Flag, about the intensity he has defensively. And, he is young. And Luka, I'm not saying that he was lazy and slowly being a bad defender, but I think he makes a great point in today's NBA where they kind of had to make that change. You talked about Anthony Davis, you talk about Kyrie, and I don't know what their cap space situation is going to be, but you had Gafford and PJ Washington on top of this team. You kind of take a step back, and not that Nico was right for making the move, but the basketball gods blessed him. And you look at this team next year, they're definitely in a better situation than the Phoenix Suns.
They are. Oh, God, yes, absolutely. It's not even close. And we'll get into more of how the Suns, with Greg Moore at 2:30, he's going to join us on how the Suns are going to have to try to stack up again in the Western Conference. It is not going to be a pretty picture. Quick timeout. When we come back, Corbin Carroll, 2 dingers last night off Justin Verlander, and the victory for the D-backs. Arizona Republic beat reporter Nick Piccaro is going to join us. But first, Connor's got your taco spot, ESPN 620 update. And remember, it's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy $2 tacos all day at participating locations.
It's time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Taco Spot ESPN 620 update. I'm Connor Collins. Tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks aim to secure a series win against the San Francisco Giants at Oracle Park. Arizona's going to be sending out Brandon Pfaadt on the mound with a 6-2 record and a 3.28 ERA against Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray with a 5-0 record and a 2.84 ERA has been an ace for the San Francisco Giants so far this season. First pitch is scheduled for 6:45 p.m., and you can catch that action live at 98.7 Arizona Sports. Taco lovers, it's Taco Tuesday. That means $2 tacos all day long at participating locations. Come experience the tacos everyone's talking about at the Taco Spot. Find your nearest location at thetacospotaz.com. Again, that's tacospotaz.com.
At Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, it's the Mizuno Fitting Event this May 15th through the 18th. The new Mizuno JPX Hot Metal irons are made with Cortec and a contour lip space, allowing for max speed and consistency. Also, take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards any new Mizuno JPX Hot Metal irons. Swing into Van's Golf Shops or book your fitting online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Looking for reliable auto repair? Look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. From brakes to full service repairs, including network collision repair and network glass and calibration, we've got you covered. Enjoy honest prices, excellent customer service, and our unbeatable 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. Schedule your appointment online today at our 5 Valley locations. Visit networkautomotive.com. Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot. With mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors and a modern twist. It's no wonder they're the local favorite.
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever had.
With locations opening all over Arizona, satisfying your cravings has never been easier. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade tortillas and fresh made-to-order meals that will leave your taste buds dancing. The Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
We are the keepers of the wild. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving the natural landscapes that define our nation. Nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters. Together with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Every year, millions of pets go missing, leaving families heartbroken. If you lose or find a pet, Petco Love Lost is here to help. Our free, easy-to-use platform uses photo matching technology across multiple media platforms to bring lost pets home. Just upload a photo and quickly search the largest national lost and found pet database. Let's unite to reunite, because every lost pet deserves to find their way home. Register today at petcolovelost.org.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
This 3-2. Swung on that. It's hit on a line to deep left. Gurriel leaps and makes the catch. A reverse somersault as now he's back to his feet and throws back into second. What a sensational catch by Lourdes. Oh, man.
That was a great play last night. Saved the game for the Diamondbacks. Thank you to Arizona Sports and the Diamondbacks radio network for that. That means we're going to get into the game and tonight's game as well. Nick Picoro, Arizona Republic, AZ Central Sports is where you can find him, azcentralsports.com, and on X at Nick Picoro. Nick, welcome, pal. Look, I thought Verlander pitched a great game. I thought Kelly pitched a great game, a 2-1 game, and it's decided by a guy who hits 2 solo shots. What did you like about that game last night?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Corbin Carroll, those 2 swings were fantastic. That's what I decided to kind of focus my story on last night. I mean, I didn't really feel like either of those pitches were all that bad of pitches by Verlander. And, I mean, it's just crazy. The guy's 1 home run off the home run lead in the majors behind guys like Judge and Schwarber. And, Corbin Carroll doesn't look anything like them. He's not the prototypical guy that you think of when it comes to hitting for power. And those 2 balls, I mean, it was an opposite field shot. It was one to straightaway center. I mean, this is not an easy ballpark to hit balls out at night, especially going the other way or to dead center. It was impressive, and it's just the guy just continues to just crush baseballs and generate so much more power and force in his swing than you'd ever think possible. I mean, look, we've seen him do it for years now, but I don't know about you guys. It never ceases to amaze me, just the thump that he has in his bat.
Taking us back a little bit, and I love the analysis there about last night's Giants game. But when you go back to the Dodgers series, we talked on the show saying if they could split, it would be probably a great case scenario for the Diamondbacks. Obviously, if they go 3-1 or 4-0, it would be way different. But what was your biggest takeaways about this D-backs team, even though it was 2-2, which is still great against the Dodgers during that series?
I don't know. I'm not sure that I really came away thinking any differently about either of those clubs. I feel like the Diamondbacks have done okay to sort of hold their own at the moment when a lot of things really haven't been going right for them. There's a decent chunk of their lineup that hasn't been producing here for the first 6 weeks. The back end of their bullpen is pretty unsettled, and they're kind of waiting to get good news. They hope on Justin Martinez and hoping to get AJ Puck back at some point. And Zach Gallen's been a little up and down there in the rotation. So I just feel like the fact that they've been able to kind of hang in there for the time being. And look, we've seen it many times over the last few years where, this D-backs team can just be kind of, I don't know, just sort of middle of the pack for a while, and then boom, they take off. So I think they're doing well to be hanging around 500 with as little, with as much stuff that hasn't really gone according to plan. And I don't really see any reason why, the bullpen might need to be addressed, certainly. But, the other stuff, I could very easily see everything else kind of falling into line eventually as the season goes along.
Nick Picoro's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Nick, set everybody up for tonight. What do you expect to see this evening between the D-backs and the Giants?
Well, I think this is the first time that our old friend Robbie Ray has faced the Diamondbacks. So that'll be interesting to see. It seems like he's kind of gotten back to being the guy that he was, which is impressive. I mean, he had a pretty major surgery there where he lost, I think he needed Tommy John and a flexor surgery at the same time. And he's gotten back to his old self. So we'll see how that goes. And I would guess, I haven't seen the lineup yet. I don't know if it's been posted here in the last few minutes, but I would guess we might see Jordan Lawler in there for the first time.
Okay. If that's the case, where's he playing?
I don't know.
That'll be something then to look forward to as soon as they release that lineup. I like that right there. Look, it's been my opinion on this radio show that the Diamondbacks are kind of meandering around. You just talked about how it's amazing that they're still in touch with the top teams in the West. And I found that interesting because it is my assertion that they will find a way all of a sudden to get hot. And then also if indeed when you get into August and it's money time, if they're within 6 games of the top spot, they could play themselves into a wild card spot without much of a problem.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, last night, I mean, I think did you say floundering? Is that kind of the word you used?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I think last night felt to me like an example of how they can win games, even when things aren't going good. And, you know, they're going to need more of that sort of stuff. I'm thinking of that, you know, the Gurriel catch that you played the highlight of on the intro. I'm thinking of the fact that they were able to catch the Giants hitter, I think it was Koss, in the rundown after the single to right and stealing out there. And they played a pretty clean game defensively beyond those 2 plays as well. And if you think back, how many times over these first, 6.5 weeks have we seen them just give away out, or sorry, not capitalize on outs defensively?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we seen them run into outs on the bases? How many times have we seen them, just sort of take bad at bats from time to time in situations that don't call for it, unable to get bunts down, things like that. If they can play clean baseball, like they did last night, they might not even need everything to kind of fall into place, that I was mentioning earlier, but they are going to win several more games. I think if they had played the kind of baseball, more consistently over the first 6 weeks that they played last night, we'd probably see a team that has 3-4 more wins at least than they have right now.
Nick, just by chance, are you a Hall of Fame baseball voter for Major League Baseball?
Technically, I am,
okay,
but I have never actually voted.
Okay, because there was some breaking news. I don't know if you have seen it yet or not, from Commissioner Rob Manfred. Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list will now be eligible. Manfred ruled Major League's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. They are now posthumously eligible for election in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I'm asking you then, as a guy who, if he wanted to vote, does that change your mind about any of those players that I referenced, particularly Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe?
Well, I mean, you got to understand those guys weren't on the ballot previously, so I'm guessing they're going to end up being on the ballot. I don't know. It's not really my wheelhouse. I got to be honest. I have a hard time figuring out what to do with the guys that are the PED users. In an era when probably a lot more guys than just the ones that were caught were using it. And I feel like when I have conversations with people that feel very strongly one way or the other, I wind up walking away convinced that they're right.
That's right. Yeah.
So if I can't really settle my own mind on which way I think about those guys, it doesn't seem right to cast a vote. So that's kind of the reason I've abstained all these years. Yeah, and I don't have really firm Hall of Fame opinions for you guys.
No, that's fine. I was just thinking that because what we have seen the writers do, and those guys have not been on the ballot, in your estimation, do you think that a lot of the voters will have a similar take to what you just stated about the PED guys? And we know there were lots of other players that were doing it as well. And then also what Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson did. Do you think that they will struggle with that opinion as well?
That's a really good thought. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, we've seen the voters already decide basically that the PED guys are not going to get in, that they cheated the game in a way. I don't know if they're going to view what Rose did gambling after his playing career as disqualifying. It'll be interesting to see. I could see it going either way.
Okay. All right. Great stuff though, pal. Listen, how's the weather? Is it cold or is it decent at the park?
It's nice right now. It was pretty chilly last night, man. It can get down there. I brought a heavy jacket. I was wearing it last night.
Now, I don't blame you one bit. It's funny. It can be 75 or 80 during the day, and at night it's 50 with where that park is located. Nick, it's always great, pal, when you take time with us. Thank you. Enjoy tonight's game.
All right, guys. Take care.
There you go. Nick Picaro, everybody. Arizona Republic, azcentralsports.com. And the Diamondbacks. It is the same two teams this evening, the Diamondbacks and the Giants. You can listen to it on our sister station. That is 98.7 Arizona Sports. All right. Nick is presented by All City Towing, largest company in the state, and a place where your career can get a serious boost. That's right. They are hiring, and they're looking for call takers, lot attendants, drivers, so much more. Here's a couple of items that you might want to think about if you're looking for a new gig. How about top-tier towing equipment, terrific health benefits, a 401k, and plus an employer match, paid life insurance, even a monthly fuel allowance. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, then do what you need to do if you want a new gig. Just go online and go to allcitytowing.com and search careers. Again, that's allcitytowing.com and search careers. It's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Quick timeout. When we come back, from Ted Williams' Monster Day at Fenway to the Coyotes ownership drama and a college baseball beatdown in Tucson. It is sports history. It'll be presented by Wright Toyota. And what in the wide world of sport are the Cincinnati Bengals doing with Trey Hendrickson? 17.5 sacks last year, and they have not yet reached a new contract agreement. We're going to get into all of that. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, with Jackson Connor today. ESPN 620, also on the FM dial, 98.7 HD2.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, the way to go.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is not enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a low-ball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Turner and Rose, the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Tired of the same old weekend routine? Then head to Putting World. Experience an elevated 18-hole golf adventure, followed by delicious eats, handcrafted cocktails, and live music at our chef-driven restaurant, Bar 19. Enjoy daily specials and happy hour deals that are sure to keep your wallet happy. Birdies, bites, and brews await. Check out this week's live music schedule at puttingworld.com.
Thank God we don't have to listen to that cowboy talk again.
Located in the Scottsdale Promenade. Eat it, drink it, sink it.
9 to 10 wins. You guys suck. Boo.
To your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group.
No way. We should side bet. We should side bet.
Service and the absolute best pricing.
Y'all are getting 6 wins. Y'all are getting 6 or 7, and then we're gonna get 10.
Plan to ensure everyone's well fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Financiers to the table.
We're gonna beat that ass. I will bet $100 on that game.
411-247 or Financiers.com.
$10.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And Roc and Manuch Amber on tap. Stop by.
I'm like, are you not a true fan, dude? You're not gonna put $100?
Track betting, daily specials, and ice cold Roc and Manuch Amber poured by Dos Equis. Arena Sports Grill open daily until 2 a.m. For their daily specials, head to arenasportsgrills.com. That's Arena Sports Grill in North Scottsdale.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Moving Day, a walk for Parkinson's, is happening around the country this spring. More than just a walk, Moving Day is a fun experience that unites the community in the fight against Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's doesn't stop, and neither will we. So let's get moving. Join the Parkinson's Foundation to learn more and register for an event in your area at movingdaywalk.org. That's movingdaywalk.org.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on their new home, ESPN 620.
Welcome back, everybody. On this day, here we go. We've got some interesting tidbits for you. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, also 98.7 on the FM dial HD2. Jax, what are you going to offer up here?
I'll start with 2013. This is a tough day for Phoenix, Arizona fans out there. On May 13, 2013, the NHL rejected a bid by California businessman Darren Pastor to purchase the Phoenix Coyotes. The league cited that the bid did not meet necessary prerequisites.
There
we go. I can't talk today. But yeah, basically they reject the purchase of the Phoenix Coyotes. So I guess that's good, that the fact that they didn't get sold, but later on, 12 years later, they would be removed from Arizona. So we miss you, Coyotes, or I should say the Mammoth of Utah.
Yeah. I really miss the NHL here. I really do. All right, you got a little story on the Arizona baseball Wildcats?
Yeah, the Arizona Wildcats baseball's offensive explosion on May 13, 2006. The University of Arizona Wildcats baseball team delivered a dominant performance against Washington State, winning 29-4 in Tucson. Woo. This game stands out as one of the most lopsided victories in program's history. It's funny enough, we mentioned the Arizona Wildcats. We're about to talk to GCU head coach Greg Wallace in the next segment, Jimmy B. Mm-hmm. They had a big win last Saturday against GCU. We talked with Paul Coro earlier about this baseball team, and he said they had a good shot, against Arizona, and they did it twice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. Also on this day, all the way back to 1973, both you dudes were just a twinkle in your dad's eye. That's what you were. It is tennis player Bobby Riggs. He defeats Margaret Court, later Margaret Court Smith, and it was the first battle of the sexes. Now, a lot of people remember the tremendous match between Riggs and Billie Jean King, but this was before that tennis match took place. Riggs was 55 years old. He beat Court 6-2, 6-1. It was a highly publicized match. It was held in California. It was nationally televised. And then when that took place and the so-called pig, which he referred to himself as, and he just bombed Margaret Court 6-2, 6-1. She was so nervous she couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle the pressure. That set up the greatest tennis match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs, the Houston Astrodome, with over 55,000 people there to watch it at the Houston Astrodome, national television, and it was then Billie Jean King who won in straight sets in the battle of the sexes. There you go. On this day, presented by Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. It's Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. All right, let's have a little NFL football music. All right, here we go. It is football at 50. What's going on in Cincinnati there, Big Dog?
Yeah, things aren't too hot for Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson made an appearance today during the team's offseason program for the first time earlier this morning, and this did not take part during their workout. It was after the practice. He didn't practice, obviously, because they've been disputing contract issues going on right now, but we do have two sound bites from Trey Hendrickson himself speaking. This first one, it's about him potentially getting fined if he didn't show up to OTAs.
The fines that were communicated with me were talking about mandatory minicamp. That's why I said there was about 20 days until then. I didn't understand the purpose behind shooting me a text. We should have gone 25 days. But again, we can go through the process. I probably would have been upset a day before, an hour before, or 60 days ago. So I don't think there's any way that would have went well. So that was the unfortunate reason.
And usually in sports, Jimmy B, when a player has contract issues, we've seen last year with Brandon Ayuk, it lasts really long.
Right.
This is one where sometimes they don't last that long. A player requests a trade like DK Metcalf, and he's gone. Trey Hendrickson has still been in issues, and he's reporting that also he's been holding out alongside the head coach, blanking on his name for the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Taylor hasn't contacted him in 30 days.
Wow.
Gave him one text. So this is another clip of Hendrickson also talking about the holdout with the Bengals, because now it's getting weird.
Well, I can raise a hypothetical with a hypothetical. I wouldn't be standing here with you if I got the deal in January, so to say I'm going to sit out or to say I'm not going to, what I can say is I'm very disappointed with the communication that's been had. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that.
He's a really good defensive end. He's a great edge rusher, and he can also take care of business on runs as well. What are they going to do here? Look, I know they spent a lot of money on their wideouts with Higgins and Chase. And, of course, we know Joe Burrow's contract, the quarterback, is a big deal. How come they can't get a deal done?
Yeah, it's interesting, Jimmy B. Burrow came out in the offseason talking about how he wanted T. Higgins back, he wanted Jamar back, and he wanted Trey Hendrickson back too. And that still hasn't come to factors. Now, you look, where does Trey Hendrickson rank in terms of edge rushers getting paid? He's 11th in the league. He's making $21 million a year. He also led the league in NFL sacks last season as well. But some of these names, we could all debate back and forth who should get paid above him. I think it's more the thing that's making him mad is how they've gone with the process.
Okay.
And I also think, too, the guaranteed money he's making is $8 million guaranteed, where some of these guys I'm about to mention is 3 times the amount of money.
Wow.
So I think that's an issue. But Myles Garrett's the first highest paid edge rusher. Danielle Hunter out of the Texans, Max Crosby, the Raiders, Nick Bosa, the 49ers. And by the way, Nick Bosa, $34 million a year.
Woo!
Josh Allen of the Jaguars, Brian Burns of the Giants, TJ Watt of the Steelers, Montez Sweat of the Bears, Rashawn Gary of the Packers, Andrew Van Ginkel recently of the Vikings, all make more money than he does. And Van Ginkel makes $22 million guaranteed. Hendrickson makes $8 million. And the top guy I mentioned, Garrett, makes $123.
Woo!
So they got to figure something out.
do.
But the one thing, too, I'll throw to you, Connor, because we talked about this before. Bengals don't have any money because they signed a receiver named T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you give about $100 million between your 2 wide receivers. That's just going to be kind of the unfortunate situation that they found themselves in. And to be quite honest with you, Cleveland's never been short, or Cincinnati. They've never been short to pay their guys.
No, that is true.
This is something that they've been doing for years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you saw A.J. Green eventually get disgruntled. That's why every big-name player that's ever made it to Cincinnati's looked for a way out. Look at Joe Mixon. So this is one of those situations where they wanted to change the narrative. They wanted to prove that they can pay their guys. Plus, I think a big reason was you had Joe Burrow probably pushing to get both those guys there. And I think Joe was like, hey, I mean, we could still score touchdowns even if we can't stop other teams from scoring them.
Yeah, you got that right. But that didn't work for them because they missed the playoffs. And Joe Burrow had a sensational year with over 4,000 yards passing. He led the league in touchdowns, and it was something that they just couldn't stop anybody else.
So sorry to interrupt,
That's all right, go
but
for it.
if you're a Bengals fan right now, so you hear this Trey Hendrickson talk, you're
Right.
just a little stressed. This is a guy that's been the program for a while. Obviously, an edge rusher they've been fiending for the Bengals is this guy, and they still haven't got it done. So you're like, man, what could get worse? Well, your first-round draft pick, 17th overall, Shamar Stewart, same position, holding out of rookie minicamp. Why? Because his contract, you think rookie missing minicamp specifically, you probably think, oh, this guy's just selfish, not getting the contract he wants to make millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. Well, it comes out that Shamar Stewart is actually getting offered less money than Dallas Turner, who was the 17th overall pick to the Vikings last year.
Wait,
same
what?
position, same position, both on the field and position in the draft. And he's getting offered less. So I get it. Like, let's all relax. NFL players make a lot of money. NIL, I get it. They make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But if someone were to offer you lower than someone else the year before at the same spot in the same position that you know you're better than, I would think we'd get the same amount of money. Am I tripping on that?
No, you're not tripping at all.
I
just can't understand why they can't get their finances set up correctly, where other teams handle that aspect of it relatively well.
And what also made me think about just rattling those Bengals stuff off.
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of feel nice for the Cardinals? You haven't heard a lot of
you've been
buzz,
very
a
quiet.
lot of negative buzz. It
Yeah.
felt like the last 2 years before Gannon got here, the whole year where Cliff got fired and all that stuff, it was like every week it was a bad negative story for the Cardinals. So for Cardinals fans out there, you guys can relax and maybe bug your Bengals fan who's going through some stress right now.
When you run into your buddy and he's a Bengals fan at the refreshment stand, you can bust on him. Look, you're right about the Cardinals. There's really been nothing, which is, as you stated, the best thing that you can actually have happen. That's Football at 50, everybody, and it's presented by G2G Protein Bars, and you can find them in the refrigerated section at Costco and online at g2gbar.com. Grab and go goodness since 2010. It is G2G Protein Bars. All right, quick break. When we come back, some college baseball. Greg Wallace is going to join us, head baseball coach for the Lopes. And then later on, at the bottom of the hour, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic sports columnist. We're going to talk NBA and the Suns. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jackson Connor today, right here on ESPN 620.
William is one of millions of Americans.
Thank God it was, because he was in pain, and I was like, bro, come on. I was like, get up.
Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up.
The Celtics, when we get into the NBA talk, bro, the Celtics are going to be completely different next year.
Saving that extra
Next year, this was the year.
We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit.
It's going to take him over a year, too. Honestly, the Achilles might be worse than the ACL.
It's not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
What was that? That is business.
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am.
Ah.
It has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Get ready for Camping World Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Full details and display.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Looking for reliable auto repair? Look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. From brakes to full service repairs, including network collision repair and network glass and calibration, we've got you covered. Enjoy honest prices, excellent customer service, and our unbeatable 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. Schedule your appointment online today at our 5 Valley locations. Visit networkautomotive.com. Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. Time now for the Lopes Report, powered by Global Credit Union on ESPN 620 and streaming on the iHeartRadio app. Get ready to dive behind the scenes as we explore the minds of the top playmakers, coaches, and partners of GCU athletics. So whether you're on the go or tuning in from home or in your car, let's go Lopes.
Welcome back, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We roll until 4 o'clock this afternoon. It is Jimmy, Jax, and Connor here today. And our Lopes Report is powered by Global Credit Union. And we're going to talk, to the coach. That's right. He's got a little action going on tonight. GCU baseball coach. It is Greg Wallace. Coach, welcome to the show. You headed to the bar this evening? You don't really have anything exciting to do you?
Yeah, no, just a matchup across town with a really good ASU team. So that's it. That's all.
But you have had success against them, Coach.
Yeah. We played a really good game at home a couple weeks ago against them and got the win. But they're playing really well. I think they just took a weekend series and really good RPI this year. So it's definitely going to be a challenge and should be a lot of fun.
Coach, what's it like facing for your team or approach to each game when you face an in-state rival, whether it's Arizona or Arizona State versus kind of the normal games? Is it kind of, is your approach different or is it the same day after day? It's the same opponent that we played last week kind of treatment?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's definitely, you're playing the in-state rival, at least from our perspective, and but you don't play it any differently. It's a midweek game, so there's so many pitchers that are available and pretty much the same lineup that we play every day. But there's a lot of pride on the line when you play the in-state rivals. And there's a lot of kids that have played together for so long. So you see families that know each other, kids that know each other, and it's just a great atmosphere.
Absolutely. Greg Wallace is our guest. He is the head baseball coach at GCU on the Wright Toyota guest line. Coach, take us through for tonight. Who's on the mound and what's your lineup going to look like? I saw what happened against Stanford, a tough one to lose in extra innings, but it was an offensive explosion at 16-15.
Yeah, 16-15 on Sunday. We went up there and got the series, which was huge. I think it was our first series win against Stanford. So that was a big one. And then Sunday got offensive. The wind was blowing, but it looks like the wind might be blowing tonight. I'm looking out my window here at the office, and it is here, at our ballpark. But we've got Chansky on the mound. He's a big lefty, junior college transfer, was a junior college All-American, and had a great outing last week, Tuesday, against U of A in a game that we won. I think it was his best outing of the year. So we're looking for him to follow that up and do what he did, last Tuesday, which was attack the strike zone. He got early contact, weak contact. He was sinking the ball. He was throwing his off speed for strikes. So it's going to be really exciting for us to see if he can repeat, kind of back-to-back great performances from him.
Coach, this is the last week of the regular season, at least. You guys have the tournament a week from today, the WAC tournament. What's been the biggest thing that's impressed you about this team specifically and that you want to continue to see as you guys wrap up the season?
Well, I think that we're building some momentum, and what I like is that this season, it hasn't always been easy for us, right? So we've been challenged in our conference, and I think for the last 4 years, we've won the conference, and last year we won it by 5 games, and then you go into the tournament, and it feels like a different atmosphere. This year, we've been challenged consistently throughout the season. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, and we've had some really big wins, but I feel like we're really playing some fun and consistent baseball, and I saw a team this weekend versus U of A and versus Stanford that was out there playing pretty free and easy and having fun. And I think we've got a lot of good players, and that's what I'm looking forward to down the stretch here, these last 4 games, and then leading into that conference tournament that I want us to go out and have a ton of fun and enjoy playing the game.
So, Coach, the atmosphere tonight, it's going to be electric, obviously, when you're playing an in-state rival. Mm-hmm. But offensively, your team has a propensity to go yard a lot. Does that still set up against ASU, or do you do anything different just because of the caliber of play that's on the field?
We're not going to try to do anything different. We've got some guys that are swinging it well. Eddie Pelk was just named the WAC Player of the Week, and he had a huge week up at Stanford and against U of A, and he's in the 3-hole, and he's been driving the ball pretty consistently. But I think our offense features a mix of some guys that can drive the ball and then some table setters. And we've been trying to, push some pressure on the bases. We'll play small ball when we have to. We're going to try to play a complete game, meaning that, if we have to lay down a bunt, we want to be able to do that. If it's a base stealing opportunity or a hit and run comes up, we've been executing those when we're playing well. And then we like to hit the long ball too. So we got some guys in the lineup that can do that. And if the wind's blowing there, the park's going to be offensive. So we might have to compete with a team like them who also can hit the ball in the park.
Coach, take us behind the scenes. What does the rest of the day look like for you? We're almost 4.5 hours away from first pitch. What does today look like for you and your team as you guys prepare for ASU tonight?
Yeah, so I'm finishing up some scouting reports. I'm watching our video and kind of breaking down some of their starters and possibly some guys that they could go to here, out of relief. And then finishing up running the lineup. Our team's got a team meal here, or some catering around 3, and then we hop on the bus at 3:30 to head down and prepare for batting practice. So that's the rest of the day. Putting the stirrups on, that's always it's a good thing once you get your stirrups or your socks on, because you get them out of the laundry, and that's probably the hardest part about getting into the uni. But that's about it.
Oh, man, that's always good, though, when you put those stirrups on. You're going to have a good day. You referenced the weather. I just did a quick check while you were talking about the weather. Possibility of wind gusts to 25 to 30 miles an hour. How does that change things?
Keep the ball down, that's for sure, and hit it in the air if you're a hitter. So, that could make things interesting over there. And it seems like scores, have been pretty offensive. I think this time of year you get some wind, so I believe that we're going to have to hit to compete tonight. And we've got the hitters that can do it, but they've got some arms too, some really good arms that they'll be challenging us with. So, it should be a fun one.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. We know you got some work to do. Go ahead and get back on that film search and get everything ready for tonight. Thank you, Coach, as always.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That is our GCU report. Greg Wallace, the head baseball coach at GCU. He's presented by Global Credit Union, and you can join Global Credit Union and experience the difference. Free checking and online banking every Friday. Everyday finances to life's major milestones. Global can help you move forward. It's Global Credit Union. Once again, tonight, it is the Lopes and ASU. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm such a sports junkie, college sports guy specifically. When I asked him about, what does the rest of the day look like for you?
Yeah.
I can just imagine him sitting on his desk. He's got a bunch of papers everywhere, a bunch of pencils. He's probably got the clicker in his hand watching film.
Oh, yeah.
As he's doing this radio call. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously the coach, I love that perspective. I wonder what they're eating at 3. I should have asked him maybe they're doing Chick-fil-A or, pasta. I don't know what you eat like the day of a game or what works for baseball
what their
players.
meal is,
yeah, exactly. But no, it's an impressive. I just think just in general, like I've been here in the Valley my whole life. It's been so awesome to see not only GCU basketball, who highlights everything, but GCU baseball, great record. They're 3-1 with in-state rivals. And when you go to their softball team, they have the longest Division I winning streak in the country right now. So I think it's cool to see the wave of GCU. That's why I love doing this segment every Tuesday, because GCU doesn't get talked about as much because there's not a football team.
Right.
And, ASU kind of is starting to be the face of Arizona, at least in the Valley in terms of colleges. But I think it's cool to get a little, give some love to GCU because their programs ran well.
Absolutely, and that's why we love doing it, and it's all presented by Global Credit Union. There is some breaking news in the NBA coming across right now. Jason Tatum did tear his right Achilles tendon in the game last night. He has already underwent successful surgery to repair it. That announced by the Boston Celtics. No timetable is available on his return. However, doctors say that he is expected to make a full recovery. So Jason Tatum suffers that unfortunate Achilles tendon tear in that game last night. He will not be available until next season. Even then, I'm not sure what the timetable is for Achilles tendons, but it's not like just a sprained ankle. I can tell you that.
Yeah, me and Connor talked about before, actually, that the Achilles injury is probably the most severity injury right now in sports over the ACL and some of the other injuries that maybe were more popular. There's been more technology and surgeries and rehab procedures and stuff and ACLs. That's why the improvement of ACLs has been so much better. But you don't wish upon Jason Tatum.
No, I don't
miss
injuries on anybody.
Especially when I see all this time on First Take about Jason Tatum wants to be one of the faces of the league, and I think that's something that it's cool to see a guy step up and want to be the face of the league when LeBron leaves, when Steph leaves. Like, he wants to be that next generation. Then he comes out, he doesn't perform the best at the start of the series, or maybe not the best in the playoffs at all. And then he has a game like he did yesterday where I felt like every time he pulled it from three, you just could tell it was going in. 42 points last night. And when this was happening, I think the Celtics were down 5. It was
it was still a game. Yeah, it was so close.
When he got hurt, then you just knew the momentum was going for the Knicks. But no, it's there's going to be a lot of, you talk about the Suns having a busy offseason. The Celtics are going to be another team because, Kristaps getting old, Al Horford, and we'll talk more about the NBA playoffs later on. It's just going to be an interesting summer. You just wonder what that roster is going to look like and if this series is going to be done with the New York Knicks being up 3-1.
Hey, everybody, it's National Hamburger Month at Twin Peaks. That's right. Now, through the end of this month, May 31st, Twin Peaks serving up the best burgers in the game, and you can celebrate National Hamburger Month with seasoned, smashed, and seared burgers just waiting to be discovered. Come hungry and leave happy. Of course, it is Twin Peaks. Thursday, by the way, we will be at the Scottsdale Twin Peaks as we will broadcast the show live from there. Coming up, Corbin Carroll goes yard twice in San Francisco. Oh, that Jalen Brunson guy drops 39 for the Knicks in their win. And Cooper Flagg will be the number 1 NBA pick in the lottery. He will go to the Dallas Mavericks. We've got it all covered for you coming up in our next segment. It is the Replay Rewind. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN 620, 98.7 HD2.
Are you looking to spike sales and grab the attention of sports fans? Arizona's longest-running sports show has a fresh opportunity just for you. Get your brand, message, and business in front of a diverse audience. Join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620 and FM at 98.7 HD2. Text 602-881-1213 for an effective and inexpensive strategy to grow your business. It's that simple. Text 602-881-1213 today.
Introducing Baja Riba, premium tequila found at Albertsons, Safeway, and your favorite restaurants. Crafted for 100% blue Weber agave, Baja Riba offers an authentic sipping experience. With 88 years of tradition, our master distiller creates smooth flavors of baked agave, white pepper, and citrus zest. And don't miss our stunning handcrafted bottle, winner of the 2022 Bottle of the Year by Tequila Aficionado magazine. Discover the artistry of Baja Riba tequila, one of the finest in the world.
Get ready, Arizona. The Rattlers are back for the 2025 season inside Desert Diamond Arena. Experience the hard hits, high energy, and nonstop action of indoor football like never before inside the Snake Pit. Lock in your season tickets, bring the crew for group nights, or keep it flexible with Rattlers Flex Packs. There's something for every fan. The turf is heating up. Are you ready to strike? Visit azrattlers.com today and secure your seats before they're gone.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
If you're searching for the best burgers in the game, find them all at Five Valley Twin Peaks all month long. May is National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and served burgers are waiting to be discovered. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. Because when I'm a teacher, I can help kids to learn and chase their dreams.
PI, a defect of the immune system, affects millions of children. Early and accurate diagnosis and treatment give children like Sam a chance to achieve their dreams.
It takes a lot of caring teachers to make school fun. It took a lot of caring people to keep my dream alive. And now, because of them, I can be head of the class.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love.
Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now it's time for our Replay Rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in Replay Rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
Hey everybody, welcome back in. It is indeed Taco Tuesday. That's right, the taco spot. That's where you need to go. $2 tacos at participating locations. And if you don't know where one is, or at least where it's close to where you are right now, just go to tacospotaz.com. That's tacospotaz.com. $2 tacos today for the taco spot on Taco Tuesday. All right, time now for our Replay Rewind. And of course, we got to begin with what went down last night. It is the Diamondbacks and the Giants, and this happened.
Now a swing. That ball's drilled. Deep left field. Going back, Ramos at the track, at the wall. That is a home run. Corbin Carroll, Oppo Taco, number 12 on the season. And the D-backs jump out in front. It's 1-0.
So there you go. So they jump out on Scherzer right away. And Jax, I'm just going to say, I thought Scherzer pitched very well. I mean, this is a guy who's 40 now, and he can still bring it. But Corbin Carroll lit him up not once, but he did it twice.
And now Carroll's swing sends a high fly ball, deep center field. Lee is back, and that's just that one go. Second home run of the night for Corbin Carroll. The man's on a heater. He's got 13 now on the season, and he doubles his own lead. It's 2-0.
He's right. He is on a heater. Thank you to Arizona Sports 98.7 FM for the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that had a tough sophomore slump last year. We talked before the season on the D-backs that he was going to be a guy that we were excited to hopefully take that next step, and he's done that this entire season. I mean, 13 home runs through 42 games, and for him to only have 2 solo home runs, be the only 2 points scored in this game against the Giants, like you mentioned, against a really talented pitcher in Verlander, who's been on 1,500 teams. It seems like he's on a new team every year with the Tigers. And I mean, the Padres, I think he was on at one point too, if I recall. But yeah, good one for the Diamondbacks in the NL West. You just got to continue to stack that tonight and throughout the series. Because we talked earlier, these division games are huge.
They are huge. You need to take care of business. And tonight, as Jax just mentioned, they are playing again in San Francisco against the Giants. Okay, to the NBA. We just talked a little bit about Jason Tatum and the Achilles injury that took place last night in the Knicks' victory over the Boston Celtics. Tatum had surgery this morning. He is already out of surgery for that Achilles tendon, and they expect him to make a full recovery. So, the NBA playoffs have really been electric. Yeah, we've had a couple of blowouts. That happens once in a while. But man, oh man, the physicality in these games, the intense play in these games. Here is the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, on what has taken place so far in the postseason.
No, I can't remember even a postseason since I've been following the league. So that goes back even longer. It's been spectacular. Amazing competition, close games, buzzer beaters, teams, small, big markets, everybody's competing. And I'm picking up just by way of word of mouth too, just walking down the street in New York. I've been traveling a lot to games, looking at social media too. The fans are responding in a really positive way, and the ratings are way up as well.
Thank you to Major League Baseball Network for that. Also, Sirius XM NBA radio for the comment right there by Adam Silver.
I mean, we talked before. It's pretty crazy to think about what finals we're going to have. The Thunder, if they can close out against the Nuggets, regardless of which team gets in, it's still a great story against most likely the Minnesota Timberwolves. And on the other side, you have the Pacers and the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
We talked earlier. The Knicks T-Wolves trade happened last offseason where Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo went from the Knicks to the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves got
Cat.
Yeah,
Karl Anthony
Towns, who's had a hell of a playoff run.
Yeah.
A guy that can shoot from the outside, and he can also, dunk it. And draw some fouls, and then they add Mikal Bridges in the offseason too. Like, those are the type of guys that you expected in the crunch time, in the postseason, to step up for the Knicks. But postseason's alive right now. I agree with you. I think it's cool to see those small market teams get their way in there.
So in the game last night, Jalen Brunson scores 39. We talked about Jason Tatum scoring 42 before the injury did him in. Brunson with a 39-point performance last night. He was just incredible in the game. After the game, Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the New York Knicks, his thoughts.
Just the way he's wired, a lot of poise under pressure. His confidence, I think, is always super high just because of the way he prepares and the way he works. So no moment is too big for him. You're not going to speed him up. He's not relying on athleticism, although he's more athletic than people realize. And then just his fundamentals, his footwork, to be able to get to the spots that he wants. He's great at creating separation, and he's always got great balance on his shot.
Okay, thank you to NBA for that and ESPN. Look, I've always liked Tatum. I liked him when he was in Dallas before he was signed as a free agent by the Knicks. And Brunson,
yeah.
Thank you. And I remember also people saying that when they say, oh, they paid way too much. He's diminutive. He can't handle the big moments. And now look at the guy. He's turned into one of the best players ever in New York Knicks history.
Coach Thibodeau, too, is kind of one of the more quiet, underrated coaches no one really talks about. I mean, what he did with the Bulls, this is kind of the similar thing. They obviously got Derrick Rose, and they got some other pieces around him and build him to, the Chicago Bulls being in the Eastern Conference Finals. He's done that same thing with the New York Knicks. I feel like not a lot of people talk about him in terms of NBA.
Well, his knock is that he coaches his players too hard during the course of the regular season.
So that's why you get the guys from Nova. That's why you get the guys from Nova with Jay Wright. It makes sense. It makes sense, Jay.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. But anyway, they will play against Boston, and it'll be Game 6. Now, we talked about Jason Tatum and him going down. This is the way that it went down on ESPN.
Jaylen Brown back in, lost the ball. Anunoby all by himself throws it down. And Tatum is hurt. Tatum is down. He wants a timeout. Tatum in so much pain. And the Celtics call timeout, grabbing that right ankle. And that's the final timeout for the Boston Celtics. But more importantly, Tatum really shaken up. That last sequence, turning the ankle. And you see here's the injury, Richard.
Well, it's very difficult. You never presume anything, but that step forward, that false step forward, and he goes down immediately. We don't know what it is, but when you see a player in this position, we thought, because we didn't see the play because we were looking at OG, was it a rolled ankle? Was it a tweak of something? We're not sure. We're going to let the doctors figure that out.
Well, they took him out in a wheelchair, and the news was not good. It is a torn Achilles, and he had surgery on it already today. So obviously, we will not see Jason Tatum until sometime late next season. Continuing then with the NBA, and the Golden State Warriors are in a world of hurt. They don't have their star player, Steph Curry, out with a hamstring. He did not play last night. Jimmy Butler has not been able to take over a game just because of the way Minnesota plays defense. Their athleticism and their length on the court has really given Butler problems. For the T-Wolves, Ant-Man doing his thing.
16 points, 8 of 8 at the line. 2 seconds left. Edwards, 1-3. And Anthony Edwards beats the buzzer with a triple. He had 2 defenders on him from about 30 feet away.
All right, so it was a big game again for Anthony Edwards, and I'm telling you right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are poised to have a great matchup with either OKC or Denver.
How fun is he to watch?
He is fun.
So what's funny about this game last night, I was playing Call of Duty, of course, every night, play Call of Duty with the boys. After I get off a game, I see the halftime already happens with the Timberwolves and with the Warriors. I'm like, okay, let's watch the third quarter here. The Timberwolves are down 2.
Right.
Anthony Edwards, I think, had 30 points last night, 16 of those in that third quarter. When you talk about a team that was so deflated heading into the fourth quarter than those Warriors, that's when you choke your opponent out, is what they did last night. I mean, it was effort. It was made threes from Anthony Edwards. I mean, look out for this team now. You look at the Timberwolves and how they're playing basketball. Julius Randle, we mentioned earlier in that Knicks trade, and how it could be the most equal trade in NBA history, with Julius Randle having 31 points in 41 minutes. So kudos to the Timberwolves. It stinks what the Warriors are doing, especially in playoff time. We want to see Steph Curry, but man, Anthony Edwards is so fun to watch. And it's a conspiracy theory, which I have, which ties into the NBA lottery, but we can get to that later in the show because it's starting to make sense, Jimmy B. It's starting to make sense. Starting to make a little sense here.
So today's Replay Rewind, presented by Lerner & Rowe. In a wreck, need a check, just make one call, 602-977-1900, always at lernerandrowe.com, and you get a free consultation. Once again, one call, that's all, 602-977-1900. The ping pong balls have spoken. Jax is not sold that it was legit.
Rigged.
We've got questions. And how now that the Mavericks have the number one pick, is that going to affect the Phoenix Suns as they try to rebuild? Well, a guy who's going to answer all those questions for us, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic, and he is coming up next. It will be the Coco 5 Hardwood Report to break it all down. Connor Collins has got your taco spot. ESPN 620 update right now.
It's time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Taco Spot ESPN 620 update. I'm Connor Collins. The Arizona Cardinals' 2025 NFL schedule is set to be officially released tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th by 5 p.m. The NFL is gradually unraveling its schedule as we speak, building anticipation ahead of the full release. According to Sharp Football Analysis, the Cardinals will have the 11th easiest schedule in the league and have already been guaranteed at least one primetime game. The Vikings are looking to make history, playing 2 back-to-back international games in 2 different countries. That's going to be in Dublin, Ireland, and then going on to England. Taco lovers, it's Taco Tuesday. That means $2 tacos all day long at participating locations. Come experience the tacos everyone's talking about at the Taco Spot. Find your nearest location at TacoSpotArizona.com. That's TacoSpotAZ.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go.
You got him on the line.
900-977-1900.
I'm kidding. I'm just like Manuch. You got him. You got him yet? Yeah. We need you more locked in. All right. I also moved the NBA draft and the other NBA sound to that first segment. Third hour we can play later too because we haven't talked about that yet.
Advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Hey, Manuch here. As a former NFL quarterback, I've taken a few hits, but nothing worse than bad underwear. Sweaty, itchy, riding up. Now, that's a daily sack nobody needs. The crew at Cho Boys sent me their boxers and boxer briefs, and I'm telling you, these are the real MVP. The bamboo pairs, game changers. Cool, soft, breathable, like calling the perfect audible for your lower half. Even out in this Arizona heat, Cho Boys keeps me comfortable and focused. I've swapped out the old gear. Now I'm Team Cho Boys, and the whole squad at ESPN 620 is too. Try one pair, you'll feel the difference. Hit up chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com for underwear that protects the pocket and keeps you cool in crunch time.
At Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, it's the Mizuno Fitting Event this May 15th through the 18th. The new Mizuno GPX Hot Metal irons are made with Vortec and a contour lip space, allowing for max speed and consistency. Also, take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards any new Mizuno GPX Hot Metal irons. Swing into Vans Golf Shops or book your fitting online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
It's time for the Cocoa 5 Suns Hardwood Report. Remember, Cocoa 5 is your go-to electrolyte-packed active hydration drink, perfect for athletes and active individuals of all levels and ages. Whether you're hitting the court or working out in the gym, Cocoa 5 helps you stay hydrated and ready to perform at your best. You can grab it at Fry's, Sprouts, Target, Walmart, and at Cocoa5.com. Now let's jump right into the latest updates and highlights with the Suns.
Welcome back, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jackson Connor here today as well as we continue on ESPN 620 98.7 FM HD2. Always great when we get a chance to catch up with Arizona Republic sports columnist Greg Moore. You can find him on X at Saying More. That's at Saying More. Welcome, my friend. Let us begin first, because as I looked at what took place with the drop of the ping pong balls, and then I looked at the Western Conference in the NBA, Greg, I look at this and I don't see the Phoenix Suns even sniffing the playoffs next year. Do you agree, or am I just totally all wet?
No, you're way off. Listen, so first of all, it's way too early to say one. Also, hi. How's it going?
We're doing great, pal.
Well, what a first
I love
question
this,
there.
man. You guys always come in so hot. You get me all fired up. I love this. Of course, the Phoenix Suns can make the playoffs, guys. Listen, I'm nothing but an 8th grade basketball coach, but my team is undefeated, and we're playing for the championship Saturday morning.
Okay.
And I know enough to know that if you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, you can make the playoffs. I don't care what league it is. I don't care what year it is. I don't care who the competition is. That's enough. I can figure it out from there. And I think the problem with the Suns last year was that Coach Budenholzer was asleep at the switch.
So you're putting it all on the coach and not on the players? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, so listen, at a certain point, you would hope that the players would have one of those players-only meetings where they lock the door and hash out all their problems. But this isn't Hollywood. Leaders are leaders for a reason. And if you have a good leader, you know, like the guy in Boston or that dude in New York, or, you know, any of these guys who can take you up to that next level, it makes a big difference. Yes, the Denver Nuggets are doing it without a coach, right? I know Adelman's been there for like a week or whatever, but we all know that it looks like Joker is running that team. I also would like to say that if I had the opportunity to do it, it's not legal according to the collective bargaining agreement, but I would hire Chris Paul as a player coach. If you have that certain level of leadership from the court, good things can happen, but coaches are coaches for a reason, and we ought not pretend like they don't matter.
It's a good point there, Greg. When you talk about last night's draft lottery and all this news surrounding Giannis, how does that impact, specifically the Giannis stuff? Because I heard there's suits about Houston or San Antonio. How does the Giannis talks impact the Suns' decision whether to trade Kevin Durant or depending on what trade partner they want to pursue with all this buzz around Giannis?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. Like, do you trade Kevin Durant for Giannis straight up? Would that be something that the Bucks were even open to? You know, does Giannis go to the Rockets and then that triggers some kind of domino effect that leaves Kevin Durant somewhere else and the Suns get a bunch of picks? And do you trade Durant back to New York for Mikal Bridges? Like, there's so many scenarios. But I've been saying this from day one. and I'm just going to keep saying this. I don't know what equal value for Kevin Durant looks like. That guy played at an all-NBA level last season. For whatever went wrong last year, I don't think Kevin Durant was one of the things that went wrong. I think the problem was chemistry. I think the problem was a lack of leadership from the bench. And I think the problem was just that guys didn't always know their roles or what they were supposed to do or how they were supposed to do it. It wasn't Kevin Durant. The dude was 3 games away from being all NBA. If you can bring me a trade proposal, I'll look at it, I'll consider it. But again, I just don't know what equal value looks like.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you for that statement, but what I want to know, you relieved James Jones of his general managership, yet he is now the senior advisor. You put in a guy who was an assistant coach with the owner when the owner played at Michigan State as the new GM, and you are still coachless. So I don't expect anything to happen right away on a coach because they are waiting to see, obviously, who's going to be available. But in your estimation, Greg, you cover this team on an everyday basis. You just blamed the coaching staff for the poor performance of this team this past season. Where do they need to go?
So let's take this piece at a time. I hate to see that James Jones is no longer in charge of basketball operations. I think that guy is just as good as anybody at that job. I was around when the Phoenix Suns were winning like dozens of games a year. I think one year they won 17 games. James Jones takes over, and within 2 years they're in the NBA Finals, right? I hate to see that he's getting the golden parachute and that he's going to be a consultant. At the same time, James Jones has had a nice long run, and if he wants to be in charge of a basketball operation again, he will get that opportunity. He's got that good of a reputation, and he did that good of a job when he was in the spot. That said, Matt Ishbia has said he wants to establish a culture, and when he thinks about a winning culture, he's going to think about his roots, which is to say Tom Izzo and Michigan State basketball. And if you want to instill that culture, you need a certain type of person at all levels. That means you're going to need people who love basketball, people who aren't scared to dive on the floor, people who aren't scared to work way too late, people who aren't scared to do every single little thing it takes to win a ball game. And I don't know that there's anybody who's going to understand Matt Ishbia's vision at a visceral level. Like, Ishbia doesn't need to explain it and lay it out as well as Brian Gregory will. If that's the case, I trust Brian Gregory to be the guy to run the search. If we're looking for a coach who embodies these traits, he knows what the traits are, and he's got that detector bent into his DNA that he can figure out who these guys are and who they're not. Look, I don't know who all the candidates are going to be, obviously, right? Jay Wright is a super interesting name to me. If you can get him, who else? Sam Cassell is a name that I've heard a few times. I think he was all of that as a player and then some. Give me a list of names. I'll think about it. But I trust Brian Gregory to know exactly what Ishbia is looking for. Then you get the coach, and then you start bringing in the types of players who fit that mold. Now all of a sudden you got something.
We talk about kind of the young guys around the NBA, guys like Jared Dudley, guys like JJ Redick, who have been there, played in the NBA, and have now gone into coaching. Is that the type of route that you could see the Phoenix Suns going? Or do you think they look for somebody who's been there, done that, an already well-established name?
Jared Dudley hurt my feelings on my first day on the job, so if he comes back, he's going to have to say sorry to me.
That'd be a fun press conference.
Feelings.
I bet he did.
It was mean to me. It was totally mean to me for no good reason. I'm standing there in the locker room. I said, "Hey, Jared Dudley, I'm Greg Moore. I'm the new guy." We just shake his hand. I said, "Can I ask you a couple questions?" He goes, "Sure, right when I come back." Oh, you think I'm a jerk? You think I'm some kind of rookie? You think I know what that means? Bet, Jared Dudley, I feel you, dog. Now, when somebody asks you, should you get the job 8 years later, and they ask me, the answer is no. See, that's why you have to be nice to the little guy, right? Like, you have to be nice to the janitor because you never know. That guy might end up being somebody one day.
Agree.
But
Amen.
I do love the idea.
Yes.
No, but listen, I love the idea of bringing in a former player, a guy who knows what it takes, the kind of guy who got like every single ounce out of his ability. So for me, the prototype on that is Willie Green. I don't know if you can get him, right? Like, he still got the job in New Orleans.
Right.
But that's exactly what we're looking for. Jared Dudley, I don't know, man. He's the kind of guy who'd be mean to the new guy for no good reason.
It's a great story, though.
Well, I know you're an NBA guy through and through, Greg. When you saw the Mavericks get the first overall pick, what were your reactions?
Oh, that this thing was totally not rigged. Because if it would have been rigged, Charlotte would have gotten the number 1 overall pick.
Unbelievable. I still can't believe 1.8%, 18 ping pong balls.
He's laughing. He's laughing. He's laughing. I can say this. I'm just glad that they did not get Houston the number 1 pick, because that was the Suns pick, and that would have been awful.
You know, I think Cooper Flagg, man, he's got a real shot, right?
Yeah.
I just love the way he plays. Like, when I watch the highlights, he reminds me so much of Grant Hill. And Grant Hill was like Pippen. He was like LeBron. Like, Grant Hill could do every single thing there was to do. And in my mind, the thing that separated Grant Hill was that he was just a little bit ornery. I'll never forget the time that Grant Hill dunked on Alonzo Mourning, right? I'll never forget that play. And if Cooper Flagg has just a little bit of that oomph in his game, I think we could be looking at a long-term impact player. It's so hard to put that on a draft pick, though, man, because you just don't know, and there's so much that goes into it. Like, and one of my favorite examples, man, one of the players I enjoy watching the most because he's willing to do any and everything on the court is Devin Booker. He was drafted, 13, right? He wasn't number 1. He wasn't number 2. There's so many guys in the NBA who they get drafted late, but they still have an ability to contribute. That number 1 overall pick, man, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Greg, we got 1 more minute left. What do you have working on right now at Arizona Central and the Arizona Republic? There's not a lot of talk about in Arizona sports right now, right? I mean, it's not too busy around here.
There's plenty to talk about. I just wrote something about Brian Gregory, in fact. I've just been having this conversation so much. People have been like, they don't like the hire. They don't like the hire. And I'm like, I disagree. I heard it so many times. So I was like, well, let me just write this down. So let me just be on the record as saying, I think this hire can work. I think this can work. So that'll be out there pretty soon. I just wrote something about Draymond Green. People keep asking me if he's an angry black man. And I'm like, yeah, he's often angry and he's always black. And you know what else?
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
But you know what else? That should be okay. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but black people are people too. And sometimes we have emotions. And one of those emotions that people have is anger. So we should all be able to accept that, especially from athletes, right? Especially from athletes. So
my brother from another mother, that's why we love having you on this show.
Thanks, man. I love coming on, man. You guys have me on anytime. You know that.
Okay, Bill. Thank you, man. See ya. There you go.
Y'all take care.
Thank you. Greg Moore, Arizona Republic sports columnist. Also, you can follow him on X at Saying More.
He said more today.
He did.
He said a lot more today. I love having Greg Moore on.
I love having him
perspective
on.
and talking basketball.
Absolutely. I got to go watch him coach his kids.
Oh, my gosh. I can't even imagine him 8th grade head coach after what we heard on the radio. Oh, my goodness. He's got to be fiery. Oh, my gosh. Might be the coach that the Suns need to come and grab, you know?
Hey, Greg was presented today by Cocoa 5, and Cocoa 5 with 6 refreshing, all-natural flavors without dyes, caffeine, or anything that I can't pronounce, and less than half the sugar of popular hydration and sports drinks. It's perfect to rehydrate and recharge muscles for people of all ages. And Cocoa 5's majority owner and ambassador, Suns player Devin Booker. Cocoa 5 available at grocery stores around the valley, always online at cocoa5.com. All right, when we come back, the 2025 NFL schedule is beginning to leak out a little bit. We're going to get into some of the primetime games. And is Aaron Rodgers going to play, or is he going to sit? That's also coming up in our next segment. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, along with Jackson Connor today. ESPN 620 on the FM dial, 98.7 HD2. Plus, we are always streaming. And if you missed the show, our podcasts are up at arizonasports.com.
Attention golf lovers and putting enthusiasts. Are you ready to elevate your game? At Putting World, we've got cutting-edge technology that'll have you sinking putts like a pro. With high-tech simulators and expert coaches, you'll be on your way to mastering that tricky 6-footer in no time. Check us out at puttingworld.com. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a newbie who thinks a hole-in-one is just a fancy donut, there's a place for you at Putting World. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And the Roc and Manuch Amber on tap. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber poured by Dos Equis. Arena Sports Grill open daily.
Hey, Connor, are you writing
2 a.m.
captions for
their
these,
daily
perchance?
specials, head to arenasportsgrills.com. That's Arena Sports Grill in North Scottsdale. Remember when things were built to last?
Yes,
well,
please.
At Arizona
The
Patio
descriptions
Furniture,
or whatever?
We've been
Yeah.
handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for
Thank you.
over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year-plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
Hey, I'll do the football leaks. I'll say, like, both you guys, like, rate 1 to 10 how excited you are to watch it. Like, 1 to 10, are you going to watch it from a scale? Like, 1, I don't care. 10, I'm going to watch it. Good game. We could do that. Something like that.
Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona, proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot. With mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors and a modern twist. It's no wonder they're the local favorite.
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever had.
With locations opening all over Arizona, satisfying your cravings has never been easier. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade tortillas and fresh made-to-order meals that will leave your taste buds dancing. The Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
Give up what you do, say, girl, I know you a little too tight. I'll be shooting that shot like 2K. I'm telling my a little something.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on their new home, ESPN 620.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. Taco Spot is the place to go today if you're hungry. $2 tacos all day at participating locations. They have almost 20 in the valley. And if you are looking for a taco spot that's near where you are right now, just go online, tacospotaz.com, tacospotaz.com. $2 tacos today at the Taco Spot. All right, let's do a little on this day and also our random fact of the day. Random fact is, if all of the gold in the world was melted down, it would fit into less than 3.5 Olympic swimming pools. Does that impress you?
What did you just read? I mean, I'm in awe by that.
If all
That's
the
crazy.
gold in the world was melted down, it would fit into less than 3.5 Olympic swimming pools.
That's a lot of gold, is it not?
You would think so.
I mean, that is an outstanding random fact of the day there, Jimmy B. That's,
all
that's
right.
impressive.
Hey, it was all presented by our great partnership with Chill Boys wearing bad underwear. Not your boy Jimmy. No, that's like showing up to the game with flip-flops. Chill Boys boxes. They bring the A game. They are cool, smooth, ready for action. Hit chillboys.com. That is chillboys.com. Use code ESPN. You get 20% off your first order. Chill Boys, great underwear, and I can vouch for it right now because the boys are happy. All right, let's do a little football at 50. What do you got, Jax? The NFL schedule is leaking out.
It's the most exciting time of the year. Tomorrow afternoon. It sucks. It's after the show. If it was before the show, we would take the entire hour to break down every single game of the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals specifically. But, guys, the full schedule release is tomorrow, unveiled at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. locally in Arizona. NFL Network, NFL.com, NFL app. You get it. Anywhere NFL, you'll find it. But it's such a big deal now, Jimmy B. You listen to me here, all right? It's such a big deal that people are leaking games already before the announcement. Now, I have the games. I have the scripts. We're all going to go through from 1 to 10, 10 being high, 1 being low, on how we're excited to watch this game. Is it a big game that got leaked? What are our thoughts? So we're going to rapid fire. Season opener, we've known this, but let's talk about it. Eagles will host the Cowboys Thursday, September 4th at 2025. And the Eagles are also, what's funny about this, too, our society, you can bet on these games already. The ones that have leaked, you can already
I'm going to vouch for Connor already because he's busy in there. For Connor, because he's a boys fan, it's probably a 15. For your casual football fan, I'm going 7.
Yeah, I'll say 7. You know, I guess the Cowboys are a little interesting with Schottenheimer, but the Eagles and what they returned back.
Nobody even knows who Schottenheimer is. They're thinking of his dad.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be fun to watch how does George Pickens operate the offense with CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go 7's a good grade there. Let's go to Monday Night Football in Week 10.
Okay.
The Packers will host the Eagles Monday, November 10th. Let me get a quick line on that for you real quick. The Eagles are a 3.5-point favorite in this game against the Packers.
Well,
how do you rate that one?
I can see that taking place, home field advantage. For me, that game would be probably an 8 because I think Green Bay is going to be really good again this year, and the Eagles will definitely be good. They are the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, both teams, equal offenses and defenses, both dominant. It'll be fun to watch in the NFC, see where they both stand. So if you're a guy out there or girl and enjoy football, and let's say your significant other is going shopping on Black Friday, well, you're in luck because get your dang phone out and watch this game, which is 12 p.m. Pacific. The Bears will face the Eagles Friday, November 28th, Black Friday.
Is there a theme
this
here
year
that the Eagles are on every game that's been released here?
3 for 3 leaks. If you're an Eagles fan, you're like, why do I need to see the rest of the schedule? These are the best games of the year. So how would you rate this one? Eagles, Bears, Black Friday.
Well, see, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place because the game is late November. So I expect the Eagles to be right in the hunt again in the NFC East. But I'm not sure yet about the Chicago Bears. New head coach, new players. So I don't know if they're going to be really, really good or if they're going to be floundering again. And their quarterback, Caleb Williams, is still running for his life on every play. So today, I'll go with a 6.
They did so much in the offseason where you just wonder, they always seems like the Bears win the offseason, but this year specifically, you mentioned with Ben Johnson, the offensive line trades, but it's the Bears.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's one of those, it's the Bears. Like, we need to see it this season. It's kind of like the Lions where they started to build up their franchise, and now we know every year they're a legit dominant team. It's the same thing with the Bears. I completely agree. Week 16 doubleheader. So, doubleheader. These games will be on the same day. The Bears will play at the Packers will play at the Bears, and the Eagles will visit the Commanders. So another Eagles game, another Packers game, another Bears game. Doubleheader on December 20th. Combine them. What is your rating here?
I would probably go for the Packers-Bears game. Once again, it is late in the season, but I would say a 7 for that. For the Eagles-Commanders game, once again, late in the season. However, I anticipate those two teams being the teams that will battle for the top spot in their division. For me, that's a 9.5.
If you're listening, you're probably like, man, that was a lot of games you guys have already leaked. Are there more? Yes. There's a lot more. We have 2 more minutes left in this segment. There's a lot more ball to talk about. Christmas. Hey, we all love Christmas.
Sure.
Connor's sitting behind the studio right now, and he's got a big old beard. I'm sure you'll probably dress up like Santa or something like this for Christmas Day.
You are fake news.
But this game, I think I'm going to give a 10 because it being on Christmas, the Broncos will be visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Sean Payton, Bo Nix going to the Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes. How healthy will each team be? Can the the Broncos dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs as the alpha dogs in the AFC West? How do you rate this one?
I'm not going that high. I will go because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be that team again in the AFC. But I do like this matchup, so I will go 9 on this game.
Okay, 9.
Yeah.
I like the 9 rating.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into the international games expansion.
Please do. I can't wait.
In Ireland,
Yeah.
The Vikings and the Steelers will be playing in Dublin on September 28th.
You mean the Eagles and the Green Bay are not playing here?
No. These are two Vikings, nice to meet you. Steelers, nice to meet you. New teams in the equation of getting leaked. The Vikings at Steelers in Ireland. What are the Steelers going to look like? And what does J.J. McCarthy look like in September?
If they have a certain quarterback for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, if he is their QB, for me, that's an 8. I want to see what takes place.
So
there.
September 28th, week 4. Week 5, the first time ever a team will be playing back-to-back international games. This time, the United Kingdom, the Vikings will take on the Browns in London. How about that one?
It's about a 3.5 for me.
Who's got a more interesting quarterback room, the Browns or the Giants?
The Giants or the Browns?
Oh, my gosh.
Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Who's going to be the QB or is it going to be Dylan Gabriel or some guy
Kenny
named
Pickett,
Sanders?
Shador.
Kenny Pickett? Yeah.
Real quick, Dolphins versus the Commanders will be playing in Spain on November 16th. In Germany, the Falcons will be playing the Colts in Berlin on November 9th. And also in the UK, the Jets versus the Broncos in London, October 12th. So those are your leagues, but make sure to watch the schedule release. I know me, Manuch, and Connor will be doing it because we're big football junkies. And, the dog days of summer, there's not a lot going on in football.
You got that right. Hey, this segment presented by, you got it, the best tacos in town, the Taco Spot. They're all around the valley. Come and experience tacos to talk about. It is Taco Tuesday. $2 tacos at participating taco spots. Just go to tacospotaz.com.
Some big news. Iran is threatening to wipe Israel off the map and destroy America. Now, UN inspectors say Iran is close to getting nuclear weapons, just weeks away. But President Trump vows...
Yeah, just send it to him. You can see me or whatever.
Aircraft carriers to the area. This is a big story.
Yeah, give me credit on the project too, please. I didn't do anything.
Covering it all this week and exposing the real threat. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight for Rob's series, Stop Iran, and find out Trump's secret plan to fix this. Watch Finnerty on Newsmax on all major cable systems. President Trump says he watches Newsmax all the time. You should too. So download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone and sign up for Newsmax Plus to watch us anytime, anywhere. Millions are making the switch to Newsmax because it's real news for real people.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Full details and display.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5, active hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, everybody, final hour. Don't all stand up and applaud at once. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Jackson, Connor here today in studio. Don't forget, Thursday, we will be on the road. We will be in Scottsdale at Twin Peaks. Once again, that's from 1 until 4. All right, so we've got a little baseball tonight. It is game 2 between the D-backs and the Giants. Last night, Jax, Corbin Carroll provides all of the offense with 2 home runs in that game.
Yeah, big players step up in big moments, and this is the guy that we've been critical of the last year, kind of that sophomore slump. 13 home runs. You just see his presence, not even on the offensive end, but the defensive end too, that outfield. You mentioned Gurriel's catch last night was phenomenal.
It was.
Alec Thomas has been a staple in center, and then you got Corbin Carroll, probably one of the most talented outfields, I'd say, in MLB. Is that fair to say, or the NL?
That's fair.
So him stepping up is big. But when you refer to last night's game with tonight, you played the Giants in game 2. I got some little news here, Jimmy B, and this goes to our next segment, talking with Nick Piccaro. The Arizona Diamondbacks prospect Jordan Lawler will make his first appearance tonight at shortstop, and he will be 8th in the Diamondbacks lineup, which is for the spot of Geraldo Perdomo, who will be taking an off day. So how about that? Lawler gets the start tonight and is batting 8th through the Diamondbacks.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Look, we all know the kid can play. He was tearing it up at AAA Reno. He deserves to be up at the big club, and now he's going to get his chance. And they are hoping that he really capitalizes on this opportunity. I hope he does too. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's an excellent baseball player.
So a little more on him. This is his first appearance since 2023. In 2023, he appeared in 14 games, started 9 towards the end of the season, slashing 129, 206, and 129. Not very good. Played exclusively at shortstop as well when he was in the lineup, but he makes his return back to the big leagues. It's always fun to see around the Diamondbacks. It feels like that's something they just do. They always produce guys from the AAA or lower leagues that come in, and it feels like this is a perfect time for Lawler. We'll see if he can produce tonight and step up.
Okay, once again, that game can be heard 98.7 Arizona Sports Station this evening. The D-backs matched up against the Giants. Now, there was some news that took place in Major League Baseball today, and it involved the commissioner, Rob Manfred, who made a surprising statement indicating that players like Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, because they have passed away, they are no longer ineligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame. So I found that to be very interesting. I've had a couple people text me. They say, well, what do you think of Pete? And I've always said this because I had a working relationship with Pete over the years, and I always felt that he should be in as a player, but next to his bust and plaque should have been another plaque that explained why he was kicked out of baseball because of his gambling. So now I don't know if that's going to be factored into the equation. Manfred's reasoning is because they have passed away, that those conditions no longer apply. So if indeed the baseball writers, because they've never been on the ballot, remember that these guys have never been on a Hall of Fame ballot. So they will appear, and it'll be interesting to see how the voters respond. I'll find it fascinating to see what they do with knowing everything that both of these high-profile players did in the past.
Did you ever have to vote for any type of like pro sport?
I have. I was a Heisman Trophy voter for a while, and I also voted for the Associated Press for Players of the Week and Players of the Year. I did that.
I asked that because what would your perspective be as a voter if you were to vote? Is it one of those things with these two gentlemen that will take a couple years? Is this an immediate thing as a sign of respect to what they did in the game? How would you, like, if you were a voter perspective, how do you evaluate this?
My evaluation would be they have served their time and they are gone. So my evaluation would be the numbers speak for themselves. So I would vote them in. Now, we all know what has happened as far as the steroid era and how those guys are not getting enough votes to get in, even though it is long past, even though the commissioner back then did nothing to slow down or even try to stop the steroid era in Major League Baseball. And from my perspective, okay, it happened. You cannot take that away from Major League Baseball. You can't say, well, it never existed, because it did exist in Major League Baseball. So even though it existed, it is still a part of Major League Baseball history. So for me, I would probably be on the fringe of voting some of those players in, even though I know that they used, just because it is part of your culture back then and part of your Major League Baseball history. I'm not defending the players. I'm not saying anything nice about them. I'm just saying that is indeed part of your baseball history, and you're going to have to live with it no matter what.
Instead of votes, do you think the MLB should use ping pongs like last night's NBA draft lottery to decide who goes in the MLB Hall of Fame? You like that segue there, Jimmy?
That was good.
I learned that from you, in the business for about 2 years or so now. But, I mean,
you're catching on, kid.
We got to get into that. I mean, what happened last night? And here's some sound, Connor, if you want to play it. If you did not know, if you're sleeping under a rock, maybe, did not know what happened last night in the NBA draft lottery, here were the results for the first 4 picks.
The 4th pick in the NBA draft goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Picking 3rd will be the Philadelphia 76ers. The 2nd pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and that means that the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Thank you to ESPN for that last night. So Jax has convinced himself it's rigged.
Convinced myself? How is this not rigged? How is this not rigged? I mean,
how did they do it then?
This all makes sense. I'm telling you, they slipped in different ping pong balls with the numbers that align with the Dallas Mavericks. I actually saw the ceremony. It was funny, actually, this morning. I was like, oh, this is rigged. This is rigged. And then I saw the ceremony or whatever they do beforehand with the ping pong balls.
Right,
Did not realize that there's a lot of people in the room, and they do select the ping pong balls. And there's a certain combination that if it is the numbers of the Mavericks, they were to get that pick. But I just find it fishy, Jimmy B.
Yes.
You go back to 2011. Chris Paul was traded from New Orleans to L.A.
Correct.
That following offseason, the New Orleans Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick and picked Anthony Davis. Now, in 2019, what did New Orleans do? Just 7 years later, what do they normally do? Trade their superstars. So they traded Anthony Davis to L.A. That offseason. They get the number 1 overall pick and pick Zion Williamson. Now we go back to 2025, earlier 2025, which is crazy. This is in the same year we're in right now. Luka Doncic gets traded to LA from the Mavs.
Yep.
In this year, between 2025. Yep. The Mavs with a 1.8% chance get Cooper Flagg. And on top of that, I didn't even mention back in 2011 when LeBron James left Cleveland to go to Miami. They got the number 1 overall pick being Cleveland and got Kyrie Irving. I'm just saying, Jimmy B, it's a pattern here. But also at the same time, as a sports fan, if it is rigged, it's a hell of a plot story. I mean, that's a hell of a plot that we get for the NBA. It's starting to make sense.
Yeah,
it all makes sense. What was your reaction last night?
My reaction was as I fell off the bar stool at the refreshment stand. I could not believe that Dallas was the team. I was hoping that it would not be the Houston Rockets because that is the Suns' pick that the Rockets got included in the Kevin Durant trade. And that would have been just awful if they would have gotten it. They will pick 10th. So they're still going to get a good player. Or they could package that pick up and use it as an opportunity to see if they can cut some sort of trade with Milwaukee for Giannis. So there's going to be a lot of movement here in the offseason in the NBA.
I'm just saying, this all in a conspiracy theory about the NBA. Let me know your guys' thoughts about this. Okay, we were in November, December. Rates were low for the NBA. And then all of a sudden,
ratings were,
all of a sudden, Luka gets traded, and we didn't think a guy was going to be untradeable. And then in return, they get flagged in the NBA draft lottery. Now, you go further on, the ratings are up for the postseason.
Huge.
Great. Postseason's been awesome. Not a lot of refs involved, which in past postseasons, there have been refs. You know who's left on the table right now in the postseason? A lot of young players. You know who's leaving soon? LeBron and Steph Curry. They want to show their young talent and get somebody on the face of the NBA. I just find the timing interesting, Jimmy B. What do you think about my conspiracy theory or just great timing by Adam Silver and the NBA scriptwriters?
I love your conspiracy theories,
but it makes sense.
Hilarious. Well, of course it makes sense. It's a conspiracy theory. It makes sense. And you reference some of the other players that were drafted after teams had been involved in trades, and then they got number 1 picks. I can go back to Patrick Ewing with the New York Knicks. Everybody screamed bloody murder about Ewing getting that opportunity to go with the New York Knicks. Look, it goes on and on and on. But it's one of those things, which is what the NBA does really well. And that is they get you to talk about their product, just like the NFL does. You were talking about a situation on television last night that did not involve a game, did not involve players. It was a ping pong ball.
That's so
That's
true.
what we're talking about.
It's so true because we're even on here on ESPN and SportsCenter's playing, and there was not one highlight that, there's 2 NBA playoff games on tonight. The Thunder have an opportunity to be up 3-1 close it out, right? They're up 3-1.
They can close out if they beat Denver.
Yeah, they beat Denver, and then the same for the Pacers tonight as well.
Right,
so it's funny. Like Thunder Nuggets tied, Indiana's up 3-1. And we're out here talking about Cooper Flag and the Giannis and all that stuff like that too. So you're right. The NBA, a perfect time for it to have a lot of buzz.
It's a great time of the year for sports and for what we do. All right, a quick break. When we come back, we will continue. Nick Picoro is going to join us, Arizona Republic baseball writer. He is with the team in San Francisco. We're going to dive into what took place last night and also what he thinks he's going to see in tonight's game, the D-backs and the Giants. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, also on the FM dial, 98.7 HD2.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Have you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? It happens more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner & Rowe Law Group handles DUI and all other criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think to get the defense you need. If the police made a mistake, call Lerner & Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on righttoyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at righttoyota.com.
Get ready, Arizona. The Rattlers are back for the 2025 season inside Desert Diamond Arena. Experience the hard hits, high energy, and nonstop action of indoor football like never before inside the Snake Pit. Lock in your season tickets, bring the crew for group nights, or keep it flexible with Rattlers Flex Packs. There's something for every fan. The turf is heating up. Are you ready to strike? Visit azrattlers.com today and secure your seats before they're gone.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
The countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2025 is on, and voting for Miss Popular is officially live. Head over to 2025misstwinpeaks.com to learn more about the contest and cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girl. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Is this 3-2? Swung on that. It's hit on a line to deep left. Gurriel leaps and makes the catch. A reverse somersault as now he's back to his feet and throws back into second. What a sensational catch by Lourdes. Oh, man.
That was a great play last night. Saved the game for the Diamondbacks. Thank you to Arizona Sports and the Diamondbacks Radio Network for that. That means we're going to get into the game and tonight's game as well. Nick Picoro, Arizona Republic, AZ Central Sports is where you can find him, azcentralsports.com, and on X at Nick Picoro. Nick, welcome, pal. Look, I thought Verlander pitched a great game. I thought Kelly pitched a great game, a 2-1 game, and it's decided by a guy who hits 2 solo shots. What did you like about that game last night?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Corbin Carroll, those 2 swings were fantastic. That's what I decided to kind of focus my story on last night. I mean, I didn't really feel like either of those pitches were all that bad of pitches by Verlander. And, I mean, it's just crazy. The guy's 1 home run off the home run lead in the majors behind guys like Judge and Schwarber. And, Corbin Carroll doesn't look anything like them. He's not the prototypical guy that you think of when it comes to hitting for power. And those 2 balls, I mean, it was an opposite field shot. It was one to straightaway center. I mean, this is not an easy ballpark to hit balls out at night, especially going the other way or to dead center. It was impressive. And it's just, the guy just continues to just crush baseballs and generate so much more power and force in his swing than you'd ever think possible. I mean, look, we've seen him do it for years now, but I don't know about you guys. It never ceases to amaze me, just the thump that he has in his bat.
Taking us back a little bit, and I love the analysis there about last night's Giants game. But when you go back to the Dodgers series, we talked on the show saying if they could split, it would be probably a great case scenario for the Diamondbacks. Obviously, if they go 3-1 or 4-0, it would be way different. But what was your biggest takeaways about this D-backs team, even though it was 2-2, which is still great against the Dodgers during that series?
I don't know. I'm not sure that I really came away thinking any differently about either of those clubs. I feel like the Diamondbacks have done okay to sort of hold their own at the moment when a lot of things really haven't been going right for them. There's a decent chunk of their lineup that's that hasn't been producing here for the first 6 weeks. The back end of their bullpen is pretty unsettled, and they're kind of waiting to get good news. They hope on Justin Martinez and hoping to get AJ Puck back at some point. And Zach Gallen's been a little up and down there in the rotation. So I just feel like the fact that they've been able to kind of hang in there for the time being. And look, we've seen it many times over the last few years where, this D-backs team can just be kind of, I don't know, just sort of middle of the pack for a while, and then boom, they take off. So I think they're doing well to be hanging around 500 with as little, with as much stuff that hasn't really gone according to plan. And I don't really see any reason why, the bullpen might need to be addressed, certainly. But, the other stuff, I could very easily see everything else kind of falling into line eventually as the season goes along.
Nick Pecoral's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Nick, set everybody up for tonight. What do you expect to see this evening between the D-backs and the Giants?
Well, I think this is the first time that our old friend Robbie Ray has faced the Diamondbacks. So that'll be interesting to see. It seems like he's kind of gotten back to being the guy that he was, which is impressive. I mean, he had a pretty major surgery there where he lost, I think he needed Tommy John and a flexor surgery at the same time. And he's gotten back to his old self. So we'll see how that goes. And I would guess, I haven't seen the lineup yet. I don't know if it's been posted here in the last few minutes, but I would guess we might see Jordan Lawler in there for the first time.
Okay. If that's the case, where's he playing?
I don't know. It's as good as mine.
Well, that'll be something then to look forward to as soon as they release that lineup. I like that right there. Look, it's been my opinion on this radio show that the Diamondbacks are kind of meandering around. You just talked about how it's amazing that they're still in touch with the top teams in the West. And I found that interesting because it is my assertion that they will find a way all of a sudden to get hot. And then also, if indeed when you get into August and it's money time, if they're within 6 games of the top spot, they could play themselves into a wild card spot without much of a problem.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, last night, I think did you say floundering? Is that kind of the word you used?
Yeah.
I think last night felt to me like an example of how they can win games, even when things aren't going good. And, they're going to need more of that sort of stuff. I'm thinking of that, the Gurriel catch that you played the highlight of on the intro. I'm thinking of the fact that they were able to catch the Giants hitter, I think it was Koss, in the rundown after the single to right. And stealing out there. And they played a pretty clean game defensively beyond those 2 plays as well. And if you think back, how many times over these first, 6.5 weeks have we seen them just give away outs, or sorry, not capitalize on outs defensively?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we seen them run into outs on the bases? How many times have we seen them, just sort of take bad at bats from time to time in situations that don't call for it, unable to get bunts down, things like that. If they can play clean baseball, like they did last night, they might not even need everything to kind of fall into place that I was mentioning earlier, but they are going to win several more games. I think if they had played the kind of baseball, more consistently over the first 6 weeks that they played last night, we'd probably see a team that has 3-4 more wins at least than they have right now.
Nick, just by chance, are you a Hall of Fame baseball voter for Major League Baseball?
Technically, I am, but I have never actually voted.
Okay, because there was some breaking news. I don't know if you have seen it yet or not, from Commissioner Rob Manfred. Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list will now be eligible. Manfred ruled Major League's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. They are now posthumously eligible for election into Baseball Hall of Fame. So I'm asking you then, as a guy who, if he wanted to vote, can, Does that change your mind about any of those players that I referenced, particularly Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe?
Well, I mean, you got to understand those guys weren't on the ballot previously, so I'm guessing they're going to end up being on the ballot. I don't know. It's not really my wheelhouse. I got to be honest. I've had a hard time figuring out what to do with the guys that are the PED users in an era when probably a lot more guys than just the ones that were caught were using it. And I feel like when I have conversations with people that feel very strongly one way or the other, I wind up walking away convinced that they're right. You know,
that's right. Yeah.
So if I can't really settle my own mind on which way I think about those guys, it doesn't seem right to cast a vote. So that's kind of the reason I've abstained all these years. Yeah, and sorry, I don't have really firm Hall of Fame opinions for you guys.
No, that's fine. I was just thinking that because what we have seen the writers do, and those guys have not been on the ballot, in your estimation, do you think that a lot of the voters will have a similar take to what you just stated about the PED guys? And we know there were lots of other players that were doing it as well. And then also what Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson did. Do you think that they will struggle with that opinion as well?
That's a really good thought. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, we've seen the voters already decide basically that the PED guys are not going to get in, that they cheated the game in a way. I don't know if they're going to view what Rose did gambling after his playing career as disqualifying. It'll be interesting to see. I could see it going either way.
Okay. All right. Great stuff, though, pal. Listen, how's the weather? Is it cold or is it decent at the park?
It's nice right now. It was pretty chilly last night, man. It can get down there. I brought a heavy jacket. I was wearing it last night.
Now, I don't blame you one bit. It's funny. It can be 75 or 80 during the day, and at night it's 50 with where that park is located. Nick, it's always great, pal, when you take time with us. Thank you. Enjoy tonight's game.
All right, guys. Take care.
There you go. Nick Picaro, everybody. Arizona Republic, azcentralsports.com. And the Diamondbacks. It is the same two teams this evening, the Diamondbacks and the Giants. You can listen to it on our sister station. That is 98.7 Arizona Sports. All right. Nick is presented by All City Towing, largest company in the state, and a place where your career can get a serious boost. That's right. They are hiring, and they're looking for call takers, lot attendants, drivers, so much more. Here's a couple of items that you might want to think about if you're looking for a new gig. How about top-tier towing equipment, terrific health benefits, a 401k, and plus an employer match, paid life insurance, even a monthly fuel allowance. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, then do what you need to do if you want a new gig. Just go online and go to allcitytowing.com and search careers. Again, that's allcitytowing.com and search careers. It's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Quick timeout. When we come back, it's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, with Jackson Connor today, ESPN 620, also on the FM dial, 98.7 HD2.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Taco Spot ESPN 620 update. I'm Connor Collins. Tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks are aiming to secure a series win against the San Francisco Giants. That game is going to be at Oracle Park. Arizona's going to be rolling out Brandon Pfaadt tonight as the starting pitcher with a 6-2 record and a 3.28 ERA. He'll be countering against Robbie Ray, who has a 5-0 record, a 2.84 ERA. He's been the ace as of late for the San Francisco Giants. First pitch is scheduled tonight for 6:45 p.m., and you can catch that action live at 98.7 Arizona Sports. Taco lovers, it's Taco Tuesday. That means $2 tacos all day long at participating locations. Come experience the tacos everyone's talking about at the Taco Spot. Find your nearest location at tacospotaz.com. Again, that's tacospotaz.com.
Introducing Baja Riba, premium tequila found at Albertsons, Safeway, and your favorite restaurants. Crafted from 100% blue Weber agave, Baja Riba offers an authentic sipping experience. With 88 years of tradition, our master distiller creates smooth flavors of baked agave, white pepper, and citrus zest. And don't miss our stunning handcrafted bottle, winner of the 2022 Bottle of the Year by Tequila Aficionado magazine. Discover the artistry of Baja Riba tequila, one of the finest in the world.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
Craving a mouth-watering lunch that won't drain your wallet? Rush to Venezia's Pizzeria for daily specials starting at just $8.48. Sink your teeth into 2 giant loaded specialty pizza slices or a massive New York-style slice with a crisp, fresh salad, both with a drink and under $10. Dine in, grab it to go, or hit Venezias.com. Forget bland fast food. Indulge in bold flavors at Venezia's. 7 Valley locations where family tradition delivers irresistible value. Venezias.com.
At Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, it's the Mizuno Fitting Event this May 15th through the 18th. The new Mizuno JPX Hot Metal irons are made with Cortec and a contour lip space, allowing for max speed and consistency. Also, take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards any new Mizuno JPX Hot Metal irons. Swing into Van's Golf Shops or book your fitting online at worldwidegolf.com. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Do you know about 211 Arizona? It's a free service to connect you with resources anywhere in Arizona. Housing assistance and eviction prevention, transportation and ride services, healthcare benefits, food resources, and even utility bill support. Talk to a live operator in English or Spanish 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Just dial 211 or visit 211arizona.org. Get connected, get answers, and get the help you need. This message is sponsored by 211 Arizona.
When I had my injury,
He hasn't said anything about it, but remembering the last few years, I'm pretty sure we did not do a show.
I don't think we did either.
At home, it's about creating a family and a community that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Let's go inside the Cards locker room and down to the field with Bob McManus. Bob's been covering Arizona sports for the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com since 1981. Now, Arizona Republic columnist Bobby Mack on ESPN 620.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2. As we roll today, as Bobby is brought to you by Chill Boys. Wearing bad underwear? That's like striking out looking. Chill Boys boxers are a home run, soft, cool, and built for comfort in the clutch.
Let's get Bobby Mack some Chill Boys. Come on now. I hear Bobby laughing in the background.
He's doing it right now. Bobby, you can step up to the plate at chillboys.com and use code ESPN and you get 20% off. You ready?
That's fantastic. Chill Boys.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Underwear.
Got them on right now.
You can wear them to rookie minicamp, OTAs, whatever you have covering. Yeah, you can wear them. They're great.
Okay. All right.
Keep the boys
Sorry,
happy.
threw me for a loop. This is why you had 3 Republic people on from the newspaper, and you saved me and the Chill Boys for last. I'm guessing.
with the subtle vibes there, the Hawaiian vibes, Chill Boys, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
But
that's why you're our
favorite.
favorite.
News to put a few dozen packets in the mail.
Okay, we will. Hey, you can follow Bobby Mack on X at AZ Bobby Mack. Again, that's AZ Bobby Mack. All right, brother. So we did a funny bit. At least we thought it was funny. A funny
just
bit.
did.
Yeah. Good shot. A bit about the games that have leaked out before the schedule release. So
Yeah.
Jax is a guy who loves the schedule
Love football,
release. What
Bobby.
about you? Where are you?
I am at the bottom of that barrel. Sorry, Jax. I think the schedule release is the biggest waste of time and effort in NFL history. I think it's ridiculous. We already know who's playing who. We just don't know the sequence. Who cares? It's not going to matter when injuries hit or when you lose 4 in a row and going into that big pivotal Week 5 game that you thought was going to mean something. To me, it's a joke. It's a waste, and it's the way of the NFL's way of trying to get more eyes on its product. Like we don't have enough of that already.
Yeah, it's
my
funny.
opinion.
No, you're good. It's funny. It's with some sarcasm there too. Just kind of a Manuch comment there.
Sarcasm. I'm being completely serious.
Oh no, from my perspective on I know you're 100% serious, but you being around the rookies, let's get to Cardinal talking away from schedule talk. What's been some of the impressions that you've had? I saw an article you talking about Cody Simon, a guy in the 4th round where maybe some Cardinals fans expected a home run hitter, but I mean this could be a guy, a linebacker that could start for 10 years plus. What was your biggest takeaways interviewing him?
Just how smart he is, how much he gets it, how much everyone in that Ohio State program thought he was the leader of that entire program. And that, you look at Ohio State and they had 14 guys drafted, and everyone looked at Jack Sawyer as the loud mouth, the mouthpiece, but it was Cody Simon behind the scenes, and not really behind the scenes. When Jack Sawyer was ripping the flag out of midfield when Michigan upset them, Cody Simon was in the locker room attending to his own teammates who had been, I guess, maced in the face. And that taught me something right there. And he didn't want to spend much time talking about it, but that's where he spent his time. And he's behind the scenes. He's what a linebacker is and what he should be. And I wrote that I think he'll start at some point sooner rather than later. And I hope he does, because that would be the right call.
When you look at the roster, and look, once again, I hate doing this, but for this exercise, I will. On paper, Bobby, they look pretty good. We thought the Phoenix Suns on paper were going to be pretty good, and it didn't work. So please tell me that on paper, the Cardinals look pretty good. It should be pretty good.
I think they have the right coach in charge of that team, and they've built the right identity. It's his 3rd year. The Suns go through coaches like I go through Chill Boys underwear. All right. Well, soon, once I get them in the mail. They've started a culture, and that cat Gannon knows what he's doing. And look, I had to give him 2 years to see if he was a real deal or just a Philadelphia guy who went to the Super Bowl and lost, but he's not just a product of a great franchise that won last year. He's a coach who earned his spurs, and built himself up and learned under some of the greats. Has taken a bit from everybody, and it won't work without him. And I'm not saying it's all because of him, because I liked some of the other coaches in that program. There was some overhaul within the system, but I like the culture he set, and I think that word gets tossed around way too much. But he's doing it the right way, and so it was awesome for the GM who's built it the right way. And that's why I think a guy like Trey Hendrickson you don't need this year. Let him do what they're doing the way they're doing it. And once you get to the playoffs, then you start adding guys like that.
Yeah, Bobby, especially when they've added a bunch of defensive linemen, both in the draft and in free agency. A guy that bolstered a lot of weight, Darius Robinson, seen a lot of photos of him alongside Marvin Harrison Jr., put on some weight in the offseason, which I think is good for both. Talk about what you've seen from those and your kind of early expectations for those 2 first-rounders.
Well, the expectations for Marv are huge, and that 1st to 2nd year jump for him is completely, essential and pivotal. Darius needs to show everyone, including himself, how good he can be. The work ethic was the thing that stuck out to me when they drafted him, and his retention to detail and everything he does to go about his business on a day-to-day basis shines so brightly during the combine and the draft and afterwards. But then, he hasn't done really anything yet. So he's under pressure too, a lot of it. And with those big additions they've added, he could get lost in the shuffle if he's not careful. Now, I don't think he's going to let that happen. But I'm telling you, they're going to start Calais Campbell. They're going to start Delvin Tomlinson. They're going to start Josh Sweat. Where's Darius Robinson fit in this? If he can't get up to speed and be dominant, I'm concerned about that. They're not going to cut him, but he's got to really earn his worth too. But Marvin's the one I think you're going to see big jump from. We'll see about there.
All right. When you just referenced Calais Campbell, look, this is last season. How much is in the tank?
I wouldn't say that.
You don't think so? You think he'd even play another one?
You and I haven't had our last season yet.
Well, no, we haven't. You're right. Guys. Yeah.
Anyways, what was your point?
My point is that how many snaps then does he play? If he starts, does he play 2 snaps and then they make a move and then he comes back again?
No.
How do you
see
see
what he's done the last couple of years? He'll go from 60 snaps down to 35, and that's about it. But that's enough to get some good stuff out of Calais Campbell, and he's ready for that. He's been prepared for that. That's what he wants to do. He even said 40, and I'm hurting after the game. So there's room. It's a rotation. Everybody in the NFL plays a defensive line rotation of some sort. So there will be ample time for all these guys to make their hay, as it were. Mm-hmm. But starting goes to guys who earned it, and Calais has earned it. And he's going to start.
When you talk about this offseason, and you talked earlier about how the Cardinals don't need to go out and get a Trey Hendrickson, do you think they still should address maybe some other needs in free agency before training camp? If so, what are those?
Yeah, I think receiver and interior line. I know Gabe Davis, I think, is visiting Seattle today. I would like him to visit Arizona. If they don't think it's necessary, I think they're wrong. I think they need to add another receiver that can push Michael Wilson and give some maiden comfort to Marvin and push Greg Dortch as well. And, the receivers are good because you have Trey McBride and because you have a power running game led by James Conner and a pretty good offensive line, but you need another guard. I prefer a veteran. I think they should bring back Hernandez, Will Hernandez. Mm-hmm. But I just think they need a number 2 receiver who's a number 2. And I'm not saying Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper couldn't do it or are too old, because I watched Larry Fitzgerald at his best when he was 34, 35, put up his 2 best seasons ever. So, but are they him? Is Gabe Davis ever had a Larry Fitzgerald season? No, but he's young, and they're all 3 will come cheap. So I want one of those guys. Mm-hmm. And if not, if there's a trade to happen down the road, if there's a veteran unexpected cut, I would look for them to add a receiver. I thought they would do it in the draft. They didn't. It was stunning to me. Stunning that they didn't draft a guard until the 6th round, which I think was too late, but I like the kid they got.
This is why we have him on the show. By the way, Manuch texts me, says the Chill Boys underwear, they have already put in the order for you.
So better be a big box there, fellas.
Bobby.
All right.
You're the best, pal.
Tell him. He knows my address.
Oh, yeah,
give it out on
we know where to find you. Thank you,
Okay.
brother.
Well,
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
There
Appreciate
you go.
having me.
You got it. That's Bob McManaman, everybody. And once again, he was presented by Chill Boys. And look, if you're wearing bad underwear, well, that's like striking out. And Chill Boys boxers are a home run. Soft, cool, built for comfort in the clutch. So step up to the plate at chillboys.com. Once again, that's chillboys.com and use code ESPN. You get 20% off. All right, when we come back, Lerner and Rowe, one call, that's all. Also, what's on tap, presented by Dos Equis and our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, 98.7 FM, HD2.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry,
Did you send it to him too?
Delivers
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't need anything to do. You got you. Yeah.
29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is dramatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. 977-1900. 977-1900.
Looking for reliable auto repair? Look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. From brakes to full-service repairs, including network collision repair and network glass and calibration, we've got
was
you covered.
D-backs,
Enjoy honest prices, customer
Lawler,
service,
whatever his
and
name
our
is, and then it was the
unbeatable 24-month,
NBA draft
24,000
lottery.
mile nationwide warranty. Schedule your appointment online today at our 5 Valley locations. Visit networkautomotive.com. Network Automotive.
Were you not listening?
Your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
Are you
I'm
looking
kidding,
to
bro.
spike sales and grab the attention of sports fans? Arizona's longest-running sports show has a fresh opportunity just for you. Get your brand, message, and business in front of a diverse audience. Join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620 and FM at 98.7 HD2. Text 602-881-1213 for an effective and inexpensive strategy to grow your business. It's that simple. Text 602-881-1213 today.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Our programs and services include rides to care, a place to stay closer to treatment, or access to information and day-to-day guidance, all for free. To see how we can help you, visit cancer.org today.
Every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease. Many don't even know it.
I was lucky. We caught this at the very earliest stages. Pieces of my past are being erased.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program has invested more than $175 million in breakthrough research. Call us at 1-855-345-6237 or visit us online at brightfocus.org/brainhealth to learn more.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Now it's swing. That ball's drilled. Deep left field. Going back, Ramos at the track, at the wall. That is a home run. Corbin Carroll, Oppo Taco, number 12 on the season. And the D-backs jump out in front. It's 1-0. And now Carroll swings, sends a high fly ball, deep center field. Lee is back, and that's just that one go. Second home run of the night for Corbin Carroll. The man's on a heater. He's got 13 now on the season, and he doubles his own lead. It's 2-0.
Thank you to Arizona Sports for those two highlights. Last night's game, those were the only runs that were scored in the game. A 2-1 win, D-backs over the Giants. Good enough for our Lerner and Rowe. One call, that's all. In a wreck, need a check? Just make one call. 602-977-1900. Always at lernerandrowe.com, and you get a free consultation. Once again, one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. All right, a little what's on tap. Excuse me. And it's presented by the Roc and Manuch Amber, and it's brewed by Dos Equis. Tonight, also, Arizona Sports Station 98.7, second game of the series with the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. D-backs, Giants tonight. NBA playoffs continuing tonight. Indiana Pacers at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pacers lead the series 3-1. An opportunity to close out the Cavaliers tonight, and you can watch it on TNT, True TV, or Max. Also, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC. That game, 7:30 tonight, also on TNT, True TV, and Max. Series is tied at 2-2. And the NHL playoffs tonight as well. Winnipeg Jets at the Dallas Stars. It is game 4, 6 o'clock. They drop the puck, and that game is on ESPN. Time now for our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. And for a free quote, repair, or installation, head to state48roofing.com.
Yeah, go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Do you believe that the NBA draft lottery was rigged for the Dallas Mavericks? 2 options. Simple. Yes or no. At 75%, the winner, yes. I only voted once. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But this, come on. I mean, are you kidding me? 1.8% chance. The year they trade Luka. Like I mentioned earlier about AD getting traded and Chris Paul getting traded and the Luka Doncic, all that stuff going on. And the Dallas Mavericks get the number 1 overall pick. This is BS, Jimmy. But I am excited for it for the sports perspective. It's good for the NBA, but come on, this is scripted.
What have we talked about today? I mean, in almost every part of our conversation, it wasn't even the games that were played last night.
Yeah, we haven't even given our predictions for tonight's game.
No, we will. The NBA lottery is what we talked about. Freaking ping pong balls popping up and down. That has been the number 1 topic of conversation. I should have asked Bob McManaman what he thought about it.
Yeah, Bob, what do you think about the NBA draft lottery? Should the NFL do that as well? Should they do the same exact model instead of worst team by record? I mean, it's an absurd thing that happened last night. But it is funny, though, you mentioned the NBA. The only sport where during games actually are still going in the postseason, there's still off-season talk. Giannis and Cooper Flag have been more talked by, oh, yeah, there's an Eastern Conference game tonight and a Western Conference game tonight that still has implications for both teams, and no one's talking about it because of all the other stuff going on in the offseason, which gives me to Jimmy B.
Yeah.
NBA guy. Pacers, Cavs. Do the Pacers close it out tonight on the road? They're up 3-1 in the series.
I don't believe so. I think Cleveland finds a way to battle back, but a lot of what I just said there depends on the health of Donovan Mitchell. And I haven't seen yet that it's been referenced as game time decision. If Donovan Mitchell does not play, then I'm taking the Indiana Pacers to close that series out. If Mitchell can play and he is reasonably successful in the game, I think Cleveland wins and they will force a game 6 back in Indiana.
This, to me, screams like the Minnesota Timberwolves when they went to the Lakers. I think the Pacers close it out tonight, Jimmy B. I really do.
Even if Donovan Mitchell plays?
Even if Donovan Mitchell plays, I think he's on 1 leg left.
Yeah, pretty much.
A bunch of injuries with Hunter, and the guys they brought back haven't really performed the way that they were supposed to. It was kind of funny, but not really. Shout out to Rock if you're listening to this. I'm sorry. But last Friday, we were talking with Scott Spreitzer about the Cavs and Pacers game. I think it was game 3.
Okay.
I want to say when the Pacers were up 2-0. It might have been game whatever.
Yeah,
not relevant.
3, yeah.
It came out after the show that Hunter, Garland, and the third guy, Mobley, were all going to play for the Cavs that night. And Rock actually bet the Pacers about an hour before that was released, and the Cavs went and rolled them. So to your point about the Cavs, that could happen with the Pacers tonight. So for those out there waiting to bet, and I'm assuming 7 minutes before, we haven't heard anything.
No,
Mitchell will play, but I think regardless, the Pacers get it done. Second game, Nuggets Thunder. A series for you that you said the Nuggets.
I did.
Thunder's dominated that last game, Jimmy B. Jokic wasn't a factor.
No. They've done a really good job defending Nikola Jokic. And when you do that and you get him out of his comfort level, then you have a chance to win. That's exactly what OKC has been able to do. I look for a much more aggressive Nikola Jokic tonight. And here's the prediction. Nuggets win this game.
Wow.
Win this game with a buzzer beater again. So I can't wait for it. I know it's a big line. Didn't you tell me earlier it's like 10 points?
10.5.
Wow.
The Thunder are favored. I agree, though. I think I'm going to go Thunder.
Yeah.
But I think
you're going to grab the points, though?
I'm not going to grab the points. 10.5 is way too many. I think this series has been close.
Yeah.
I think one upset happens tonight. I think it's either the Pacers or the Nuggets will win tonight. So it's be interesting to see who will brag tomorrow, me with my Pacers or you with your Nuggets.
Yeah.
But just overall, I mean, you look at the playoffs, a lot of young faces I think it's cool to see in the league. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had a great game 4. Obviously the Cavs have a bunch of young talent. Tyrese Halliburton with the Pacers, the Knicks with Brunson, Cat, and so on. Like, I think it's cool. And with Anthony Edwards, it's kind of nice to see, these these small market teams, young stars are starting to emerge in a time where it seems like the league's turning to those young guys with Steph and LeBron not a factor in the playoffs.
Right. And it's too bad that Steph can't play.
I know.
It really is.
That series looked so promising when the Warriors and the Timberwolves, and even at game 2, it was tight early, but once Steph got hurt, it was pretty much over for the Warriors.
The other big news today in Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of MLB, has come out and said with the deaths of Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and others, they are now eligible to be voted into Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. So posthumously, because Manfred's reasoning was that they are no longer alive, thus the arbitrary rule of you can't get in because of your transgressions does not apply. It'll be interesting to see what some of the baseball writers do now.
Yeah, Nick Picoro laid it out perfectly about how a lot of these writers have the same perspective as him, where he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Do you let him in this year? Do you let him in another year, 5 years from now? Never, 10 years? So it's definitely an interesting story and a big deal for baseball.
Had fun today, despite the fact that Connor and his Cowboys fandom had to come out in our interview when we were at Dallas.
We were talking to a Dallas reporter. Come on, what do you want to ask him? The weather in Arizona?
9 to 10 wins, please.
Yeah.
Have fun with 4 at least. Maybe 4 wins for the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, everybody. Tomorrow on the show, Suns' Tim Kempton will be our guest. We'll do campus quickies and the Rattlers report. Head coach Kevin Guy. They're coming off a victory this past weekend. So all of that tomorrow and so much more. Thank you for listening. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That is right in my timetable. Absolutely. Don't forget, $2 tacos, Taco Spot. That's where you can find them. $2 tacos today.